commentary are just some of the cool kids from the Debate Flat Earth and More Discord server. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, so Jim, you're telling me a flat earther was struck by lightning and we can't say that God doesn't want them to be a flat earther?
That's their claim. It's on video. This is on video. You'll see it happen.
Oh my God.
As always, this is certain. You have to take what I say with a bit of a pinch of salt. Anyway, as usual, we kick off tonight with a collection of random funnies, starting with this gamer lady who is excited by her own early success in a game.
I got an award? Where are my awards? Wow, I can't believe I'm doing such a good part. I'm getting an award already? Where's my awards?
जो पसंद आए तो लाइक कमेंट
Rono.
बहुत ही मजेदार वीडियो
Off work, been wearing this hat for like 10 hours straight, so you're anti-black if you laugh.
There you go. That's a few just to get you warmed up.
Una Matata. No worries.
I was going to make fun that her award was going to be down to work, but she looked so sad.
She really looked disappointed, didn't she?
I felt so sorry for her.
And the music changed as well, didn't it? She was all sort of bright music, and then it went all sort of like a dirgy church hymn. All right, we continue with a compilation of crazy Christians for your consideration. Now, enjoy.
RI, used, for those of you that don't know, is antidepressants and refers to a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. It's anxiety, depression, PTSD drugs that I think some 20% of America is now taking, because the end times are upon us, people. And if you don't have the Holy Ghost, if you don't know how to do deliverance, you don't know how to rebuke the devil, you're going to end up entertaining anxieties, fears, phobias, and you'll become a host home for them, and then you'll be drugged up to cope with the demons.
You could see it through the TV, like a straight-on demonic manifestation happening before your eyes. But really, that actually, I think that's really good for Americans to see, so that they understand, hey, listen, these are different days. This is not the days where you can give up there and give kind of a bland, nice, oh, let's come together in unity speech. We have literal, crazy, demonic people that are elected in our nation that want to see it totally destroyed.
Do I believe that babies come from heaven? I do. I think that there are multiple millions and billions of thoughts swarming around the head of God, and he sends infants to this planet from his thoughts, and they are born, and God has sent a cure to this planet for every known disease. And the reason we have disease is because the wickedness of abortion aborted the answer to a disease before it was ever born.
How can our listeners and viewers be praying for you?
Well, yes, Tony, this is as much a spiritual battle as it is a political battle. I can tell you I've been engaged in these sorts of issues for a long time, and I and my family have come under spiritual attack. So yes, please have your viewers pray to guide me and guide my family, to that the hand of God would protect us from the demonic evil that is the transgender cult.
We certainly will.
I believe very strongly that Colorado is the high places mentioned in Scripture. And this has been a big prayer of mine. I could unpack it a little bit if you want, but I believe that one of my primary responsibilities as governor is to tear down the high places. And so I spend a lot of time praying and thinking about that. I don't want, when I'm finished with 4 years or 8 years or however long God allows me, I don't want God to say, like he did with many kings in the Old Testament, that he was a good king, he followed the Lord, but he didn't tear down the high places.
And we sure saw that over and over again.
I will not do that.
What does it mean to you to tear down the high places?
Well, I'm still figuring some of this out, actually. I thought I knew what it meant a few years ago. But I don't think high places are geographical in this context. Okay, once you get past the cross, a lot of things change. The concepts of the Old Testament are still there, but they're foundational. Yeah. So you have to figure out how they play out because the bar's raised on every single thing. Mm-hmm. None of it's lowered. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so the high places, I believe, are more attitudes and spiritual mentalities. And Ephesians 6, the principalities, powers, and high places, and things like that. So I really am spending a lot of time praying about this. Mm-hmm. Obviously, abortion, obviously grooming, those are things that we have got to tear down. These are the spiritual blights against our country and against our state. And
for which we will be judged.
We will be judged for this. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean just people. The church will be judged.
The nation.
Yes.
All black people are impulsive, lazy. I could list some particular sins. And again, in general, of course there are exceptions. I'm not thinking of Thomas Sowell, not thinking of Clarence Thomas. And I think I could also, to go one step further, say all Jews are subversive. And there would, of course, be some exceptions there as well.
I cannot believe that more leaders across America, more Christian leaders, are not speaking up about what is taking place in Times Square. The fact that right now and yesterday, thousands of Muslims have blocked off Times Square in New York City, shouting Allah Akbar, releasing demonic prayers and decrees over this city. Are you kidding me? In America, you have Muslims taking over the streets of Times Square, New York City, 25 years after 9/11. Just 25 years after 9/11 is all it took, and the streets are being completely hijacked with prayers to a foreign god in America's greatest city. How did we get here?
I live in East Tennessee. And I've told the story on Flashpoint before that when one of my kids was in middle school, there was kitty litter boxes in the public schools for the boys or the girls that identify as furries. Yeah. I mean, this is in the Bible Belt. So we have to be watchmen on the wall and say, no, we're going to recover Los Angeles, Chicago, but also the Bible Belt, Tennessee, Texas, Kentucky, Alabama. On our watch, we're not going to allow this, whether it's Islam, wokeism. It cannot infiltrate our schools, and it's going to take moms and dads that are committed to being those watchmen on the wall for the children.
Women are made to be fucked, literally. That is what it is. Act, potent. We are act, they are potential. They have eggs, we have sperm. Sexual act actualizes the potential, makes a baby. That is what they are made for. That they're made to be bred. They are made to have kids with. Okay, they exist for sex. Women exist for sex. That is why they are mothers, or they are whores, or they are nuns. End of list. Women are either mothers, whores, or nuns. No other options. There are no female philosophers. There are no female inventors. There are no female generals or billionaires. They are mothers, whores, nuns. End of list. That's what you can be.
Obedience is doing what your dad wants you to do, even when you don't want to do it. Submission, joyful submission, is following your husband, even in times where it doesn't particularly make sense. It's clearly not sinful, but you don't particularly want to do it. And so, why is this so powerful in a world that we live in today? Because a world filled with insubordinate feminist women, joyful submission is a righteously confusing witness to the broken world. They look at it and they go, how is this happening? Because what they're seeing is what's normal. What's common is insubordination, but it's not normal. What's normal is order. What's normal is order. And our duty as the church, as Pastor Corbin said, is to tell the world what is normal. Because the Bible communicates what is normal in the Word of God. And when you have the instruction manual for marriage, it's pretty easy. You can follow the rules and roles of marriage, and you have a very ordered marriage. Joy is the result. And that is an extremely powerful evangelistic witness to women when they see your joyful submission.
Yeah, walking around with a dog collar on is just so normal.
You got a pretty serious collection of shit there. You got a pretty serious collection of full-on fuck knuckles there. Jim.
Yeah.
I thought you were only supposed to submit to God.
Yeah, Nick Fuentes. Oh my God, it's no wonder he's single.
Yeah, how can
what's that?
A relationship is if he's never had one,
right?
That either.
I don't.
What was that bloke saying? Babies are God's manifestation of His thoughts.
Yeah.
What was he bloody? What was he bloody thinking with Hitler and Pol Pot? Jesus.
No, you misunderstood. They were God's thoughts.
Thoughts?
Thoughts, yeah. THOTS.
Oh, thoughts.
Okay, let's move on. Religious fundamentalism is, of course, a huge problem for the world today, as an oppressive regime of religious fundamentalists attempt to fulfill scriptural prophecy. Take a look.
We are honored to come before your presence today, lifting up the arms of our president. We pray for your continued blessing and favor to rest upon him. We pray for wisdom from heaven to flood his heart, his mind, and Lord, you will guide him in these challenging times that we're facing today. I pray for your grace and your protection over him. I pray for your grace and protection over our troops and all of our men and women serving in our armed forces. And Father, we just pray you'll continue to give our president the strength that he needs to lead our great nation as we come back to one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We pray your heavenly blessing upon him in Jesus' name. Amen.
And so I commend Donald Trump. I commend Benjamin Netanyahu. I truly believe, Greg, maybe we can talk about that a little later, but I truly believe that God ordained these two men to be the leaders of those nations at this exact time for this exact purpose. We've all been given an opportunity to bless Israel. If we bless Israel like I believe President Trump is doing now, then we will be blessed. I truly believe America is going to be blessed from this effort. And likewise, if we turn our back on Israel and curse them, then we're cursed as a nation. And the Bible bears that out. Again, there's only one criterion upon which nations are judged. That's how nations treat Zion. So at this moment, we have to do everything we can to ensure that President Trump has a House and a Senate that will work with him to advance peace and prosperity in America by being pro-Israel. So that's why the primary is extremely important.
Right. It's the golden age, but it's not just America's golden age. It's actually the golden age for the world.
Many nations have nuclear weapons, but only Iran has the will and the state of objective that they will use it. In their public square in Tehran, they have a square that has the countdown clock that says this is how long it will be until we annihilate, until we kill every Jew with a nuclear bomb in Israel. They're blatant about it. They want everybody to know this is who they are. Most people don't know that, but they're blatant about it because they're so filled with demonic rage. They're filled with satanic rage, these Ayatollahs. You could only hate someone if Satan was living inside of you. It's the only way it could be. And so that's why they need to be defeated. They need to go. This isn't just a spat between nations over a border, a little bit of land. That isn't it. This literally goes back to the Garden of Eden with Satan and Satan's hatred for God.
You know, there was a man in the Bible by the name of King Saul.
And God saw that there was a group of people called the Amalekites that hated Israel. The Amalekites had one desire: to destroy Israel from under the sun. And God raised up King Saul and told Saul, I want you to preemptively strike the Amalekites. I want you to go in and kill every man, woman, boy, and girl. And I don't want you to explain it to Congress. I don't want you to explain it to anybody. I want you to do what needs to be done to preserve my people a little longer on the face of the earth. Now, if King Saul was to do that today, the entire world would turn against him. But you see, when God is in something and a man doesn't care what the world thinks, he is obeying the dictates of God himself. When God raised up Donald Trump, Iran is to America what Amalek was to Israel. The same thing.
As we gather in this house today, we pray for the peace of Jerusalem and the many Christians in Iran that will now be free to worship you in spirit and in truth. The Word of God commands us to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, for they shall prosper that love you. We thank you for the fabulous military victory over the enemies of Israel this week. The Bible says, he that keepeth Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. We thank you for our President, Donald Trump, whose wise courage has crushed the enemies of Zion. Today we rejoice in the prophetic scriptures of Ezekiel revealing God's Operation Fury for the enemies of Israel in the near future.
I believe, and I got the news in a pretty good source, Donald Trump was really trying to offer an olive branch to them before this happened. He wanted the denuclearizing, uncompromising, and he wanted there to be a different policy regarding the protests and the people, the right of the people to not be harassed. And I think, if I want to be theological about it, I think the same way that God hardened Pharaoh's heart, God made the Iranians just recalcitrant. They refused to budge. And when Trump saw that they were not going to move and that there was no sense in delay, he went ahead and made the decision, as he always does. The Jewish people will be celebrating Purim this coming week. Isn't it interesting that the ancient stronghold of the Prince of Persia that sought to exterminate all the Jews is now coming down again under the authority of another modern day ruler who the prayers of God's people have been empowering, so that during their Feast of Purim, when they had a reversal of a destructive threat, we're watching that reversal happen again in our days. So things are happening right in alignment with actual feast days. By the way, Hamas attacked Israel on the October 11th was the first day of the Feast of Tabernacles. There's always a feast day manifestation because Israel and the return of Jesus is back on the menu.
When something like this happens, the first thing that I think of is I trust President Trump. Okay? I don't worship President Trump. I trust President Trump because he has now, over a decade, proved to me that he is someone I can trust. This doesn't mean that he's going to get everything right, but I'm always amazed at how quickly people second guess and they act like, well, they've got more secret information than the President of the United States. And if the President of the United States was a jughead like Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or a feckless, awful person like Barack Obama, that's another story. Then you don't know, you have no idea what they're thinking, what they're doing, and you can assume the worst most of the time. But with President Trump, I think when you don't know quite what to think, you can trust him. You elected him. We elected him.
You got to watch this.
The Bible says that this attack at the end of time will come on Israel from the north and the south, and that will be the final war, the war to end all wars that will usher in the end of time. Now here's the question. Are we entering into that war right now? In Ezekiel 38 and 39, it mentions nations Gog and Magog. That would be like modern day Russia. It also mentions Persia in Ezekiel 38 and 39. That corresponds to modern day Iran. What we do know is that if Iran enters the war, that Turkey and Russia will probably go with them. Right behind them will be North Korea and China. And if all of the world powers start attacking from the north and the south, start trying to attack Israel, that could be the war to end all wars that ushers in the end of history. You may be going right now like, bro, this is heavy, man. Can I just say this? There's a lot of hope in Ezekiel 38 and 39 because we know how that battle ends. But the Bible says exactly at the moment when it looks like all hope is lost for the descendants of Isaac, that the Lord himself, Jesus Christ, will descend. He will take the battlefield and he will win the war once and for all time.
Well, he's very excited, isn't he? Fundy Christians in America.
Wow.
Fundy Christians in America. Iran with nukes. AI. Face it, guys. We're completely fucked.
I cannot stand
an alien.
like this.
Is this
I cannot stand
your last episode of the show? Fuck.
Yeah,
Revelation. That's the reason I'm glad to be on the other side of the planet.
But that second last guy looked like he'd been standing in a severe crosswind with his hair.
Yeah.
VD for the show, you are going to need to turn red tape up, though.
That bit where everyone was praying over Trump, who was the dwarf on the second on the right?
I didn't notice.
No idea. But
there was some little dude that was about 4 foot fucking tall standing there, and I'm like, who's that guy?
But they do some. It is weird, isn't it? If you noticed in that, the thing I always notice is their hands, and they've got their hands as if they're sort of beaming, forces at Trump. You know what I mean? It's so weird, that is. And you see this in American church services. They've always got their palms up in the air. And I always think it's so odd because I went to church so much as a child, never ever saw anyone do that. But apparently, the American God, he requires this whole palm thing going on,
Yeah, welcome to fundamentalist Christians in the United States. Yeah.
Right.
Also, where in the blue fuck did he get the idea that Gog and Magog are going to be Russia? We already know that Gog was from the land of Magog, and he was Turkish. It's from Anatolia.
Don't expect you
crazy.
Yeah, but you don't spoil a good narrative with facts.
Yeah, he wants to be excited that Jesus is coming, doesn't he?
Yeah, the end of the world. Let's be excited. Woohoo!
Yeah. Oh dear. Right, what's next? Let's have a look. Oh yes, war in Iran is a major news story. So of course, like all major news stories these days, it is surrounded by conspiracies. I've divided these into two collections, mad and not so mad. Let's start with the mad.
America and Iran will also fight. Also a physical altercation, not just words. Iran will emerge the victor from that in terms of clear points. One, this is because America is not expecting to be touched by any nation in terms of a physical fight, but she will be. Iran will touch her. Iran will draw blood. They will land blows, and for this alone, they will be respected and highly congratulated by the Arab countries surrounding them, as well as secretly by many of America's enemies. So the prophecy that I received, I think it was also 2020. It is called the cockfight.
First of all, normies owe us an apology, us conspiracy theorists. We are seeing a real-life psyop unfold right before our eyes. Social media has been flooded here recently with AI-generated videos from the conflict in Iran. Whether you support us getting involved or whether you don't, it doesn't matter. What does matter is that we are seeing videos from the conflict that are being now confirmed as AI generated. We're at the point now where we are not going to know what is real and what is not. You don't think that agencies, like three-letter agencies and governments are not going to take advantage of AI technology to show you something on the news and make you think one thing is going on when in fact it's completely something else? This is their way of trying to get us to change our perception of the conflict tell us one completely different story that we can't verify unless we're actually there, unless we're actually in the armed services, or unless we're actually in these countries. That is terrifying. A couple of years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, there was a gentleman who worked in the tech industry. I can't remember his name, but he said that he felt very certain that we have been shown something in the media, a big, like whether it was the president talking or a press conference or something that we all thought happened, but it actually was AI generated. And nobody told us that, okay, this is, and no one debunked it, right? So basically, these three-letter agencies can now use AI as a tool to manipulate the masses and write their own narrative that we can't confirm unless, again, we're there. That is utterly terrifying. 100%. You know, I think AI is really cool for some things, but this is a disinformation campaign. We have no way of knowing what's really going on. To all the normies who say, oh, no, that's not true, the CIA would never, we're seeing it unfold in real time. There were news outlets who aired footage that was later confirmed to be AI. They ran the footage and they were like, oh yeah, here's footage from, you know, the Iran conflict, and then had to come back and retract it and go, hey, yeah, we got duped, that wasn't real. That's utterly terrifying. Man, fact check as much as you can, but how do you fact check now? This is mind-blowing, and it's not even close to over yet.
Hey guys, I'm telling you, you will find a lot of truths, like all of these current affairs that's taking place right now in sci-fi movies and books. So in the late 90s and early 2000s, if you grew up watching the TV show Stargate SG-1, then you will begin to understand that a lot of the events that's taking place, especially in Iran, is parallel to this TV series, okay? So in Stargate SG-1, you have the main characters, Colonel O'Neill, Major Samantha, also known as Sam, archaeologist Daniel, and Tilk, who's from the line of Jafar. And the Jafar are like genetically modified humans who are hosts for the Goa'uld. And the Goa'uld are the aliens. They're basically parasites, okay? So in the show, you have these group of soldiers and scientists that travel through a Stargate, okay? And the Stargate is like this big ring-shaped alien device that creates a wormhole to get to other planets, okay? And the wormhole is like this blue and, you know, wavy kind of texture, almost like a watery kind of texture, okay? And so in the show, they're always on some kind of a mission, okay? And all of the wars that take place is all about mining, you know, whether it's mining for human souls or mining, you know, resources. It's all about mining. So how is this related to Iran? Because Iran, just like Iraq and Mount Zion in Kenya, are Stargate portals, okay? And Stargate portals are really important because they are where large portions of Earth's rare minerals are located, okay? So this whole war with Iran is about, you know, resources. It's not about, you know, religious or government threats. And so Stargates are portals to communicate with these spirits, the jinns, the aliens, same thing, okay? So they are the intermediary, the fourth dimension between Earth and the spirit realm, okay, where the spirits live. And so mining resources is important to communicate with these spirits and, you know, for them to basically live among us. Hope that helps. All right, guys, take care. Peace.
Iran is holding a Stargate that could literally change Earth's future. And nobody's been talking about it until now. This is more than just politics because Iran sits on Stargate 10, a pre-fall energetic portal once used to anchor eternal life energy into Mother Earth's body. For thousands of years, it's been hijacked by fallen forces who've sent frequencies through it to trap the solar masculine and suppress the divine feminine voice. The people and voices rising up right now, they're not just protesters, they are souls who are awakening. And every single chant is cracking open dormant gateways buried in their DNA and in the land itself. You see, if the Abadan gate reopens, and distortion is cleared over Iran, a dormant energy current could flood into Mother Earth's planetary grid, reconnecting Persia to the eternal flame template. This wouldn't just free Iran, it could shift Mother Earth's entire energetic grid. Stargate 10 and the Middle East has been fought over in the invisible world for centuries. It's not just for oil. It's a very valuable piece of real estate, and the time has come to restore it. On January 17, we're going to do a global grid work over this sacred site, reclaiming what was buried. We're not going to just sit here and wait for governments. We're answering a planetary call. If you resonate and you feel called to join, comment webinar and we'll send you a link. Let's open this gate and send eternal life frequencies through the Middle East together. Persia's gate is calling. Eternal Flame Keepers, where you at? It's time. Comment webinar. We'll send you a link to join.
There you go. You see, it's all about Stargate 10. None of you were thinking that, were you?
I knew it.
Well, Australia is meant to be pretty rich with resources. I want a Stargate. Where's my Stargate?
No, they even blew it though. You didn't even get the Stargate stuff right.
You had one,
We've
but
got one,
some
though, it's
preacher ate it.
It's on top of Uluru. That's why you're not allowed to go up there anymore.
The Stargate was in Egypt, not Iraq. Anyway, come on, and Tilk was to Jaffa, not a Goa'uld. Come on, get your story right.
I noticed it also, yeah. And Jem, did you get my message? Just look when you get a chance.
Okay.
I do wonder why that very first lady thought America was Aisha and that Iran was going to touch it, though. That was very strange. Probably not a good joke. I apologize for that one.
Okay. What's next? More Iran conspiracy theories now, starting with this guy who is supposedly receiving updates from military insiders.
Hey everyone, I have very big news about what is happening in Iran, and I just met with the team. The information I'm getting is concerning because, to start off, U.S. military members are getting told that their deployments are being extended past July, past August. I mean, people are freaking out because they were supposed to be home this month and now they're going to be out deployed past August or farther than that. Okay, that's just the start. Then you have the attacks on Iran widening. The U.S. government is saying we're going to keep bombarding them. Their leadership is already completely taken out. Okay, so Iran was supposed to have a leadership in place to negotiate a deal, some kind of resolution. They don't have a leadership anymore. They were gone. Their capital gone. Rebel. What I'm being concerned of the most is the latest intel we got from people active duty in the military is saying that our U.S. military officials are telling members active duty to be ready for a war that they have never seen, a great war, a war of Armageddon. Now, I have not seen a video proof that they said that, but that's what I'm being told. So we need to stay safe and stay ready. I have a major update coming soon. Everyone, I have a very big update. A lot of news coming out today about the situation in Iran. I'm getting a lot of information from my inside sources in the U.S. military right now. It looks like Iran is pretty weakened. They are about to get ready to make some kind of deal. They're still attacking, still doing retaliatory efforts, but the U.S. is digging in. They're saying this is going to take weeks or months to get what they truly want. What I'm concerned about most now is cyber attacks. Okay? With the grid and all of the infrastructure we have in the U.S. with these data centers, the grid, production, if those get affected at the same time that oil and gas is going up, our economy can be thrown way off kilter. So I'm going to meet with the team right now to get more info about what we can do to stay safe out here, because it's going to be a trying next few months. Be ready. Hey everyone, I have very big news about what's going on with the Iran situation. As more and more information is coming into my team, and we're looking through it, this is crazy. So, not only are these attacks on Iran widening from the US and Israel, but now things are falling through the cracks with what's happening from Iran's retaliation. Okay? We're receiving cyber attacks here, and we don't know if it's from Iran. We don't know who's behind it. We don't know if it's because the data centers have been lost over in Dubai, in the UAE. There's so many unanswered questions right now. We're in a gray zone of information, and we're sifting through it, trying to make sure how do we keep as much damage from reaching the U.S. as possible. The latest thing that I've heard is that there is major outages on major websites. Like last night, even TikTok was acting up. It was on the down detector. I saw many articles today where people are worried that Iran could be doing cyber attacks. We need to stay safe and stay updated.
Hey everyone, I have very big news about the situation in war in Iran. I just met with the team and we're getting in intel about what to expect after these attacks and these bombings, okay? Israel and the US are still heavily bombing Iran. Iran right now, they've made a few retaliations, but we have not seen anything yet. The intel I've been getting, it's not looking good, guys. We need to stay ready because Iran supposedly is gathering intel. How many people they have left, how many weapons, how many men, and they are preparing for an all-out attack. We're talking not just bombings, but sleeper cells as well. That could be stateside. I'm a little bit cold out here reporting the news as fast as I could. I got to go back in and meet with the team, and I'm getting more information about when we could see this retaliation from Iran.
Look, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but for a while we've been getting told that Iran killed upwards of 30,000 of their own civilians that were protesting, which I'm sure there was quite a lot of death. But we're also now being told that the way that Israel was able to kill the Ayatollah was because for years they had actually hacked the street cameras in Iran. And if Israel has that capability, why do they not have or want to provide footage for what happened to give some evidence of how many people were killed in those protests? I can't square that circle.
A lot of things that were conspiracy theory, 4 or 5 years ago, have not come out to be true. So were they really conspiracy theories, or was it the truth that was?
Well, conspiracy theories are meant to be like maybe it's true, maybe it's not. So
is it? I heard there are Bitcoin mining sites. Let me just tell you what I just found out. Right after they got bombed, right after the facilities got bombed, the hash rate, which is how much machines were running mining Bitcoin, fucking fell off by like 15%. Was Iran mining Bitcoin and selling Bitcoin to pay for their nuclear plans and ambitions? Who knows? But maybe.
Wait, it's not about their nukes?
No. Iran's central bank counts because their oil and energy is very important, including for China. If you're going to come out with programmable money,
with a revolutionary new payment system,
with digital IDs that are interoperable globally, that controls in each jurisdiction centrally, you can't afford leakage. Iran right now is the big leakage in the system. Now, Larry Fink and BlackRock have said
we need to move very rapidly.
They're planning on trading all stocks and bonds using tokens.
All investments on a tokenized platform.
What it means is this is going to be...
we have one common blockchain.
Potentially $100, $200, $300 trillion market.
You don't need to be a conspiracy theorist to recognize patterns. And I'm sure you know, World War I started on July 28th, 1914. Don't worry, I'm getting somewhere. And World War II started on September 1st, 1939. So what happens if you add all those numbers together on both of those dates? They both equal 68. That's a little interesting, don't you think? I also did the Vietnam War just out of curiosity. The Vietnam War adds up to 86. And knowing the history of that war, it's almost like the inverse war. That was a little interesting, I thought. So, potential World War III starting on February 20th, 2026? We'll have to see, man.
Can somebody help me confirm if this is true or not?
So you remember that missile that hit that school in Iran and unalived about 148 school children? So I'm hearing that it was an Iranian missile that actually misfired and took out those kids. The IRGC allegedly owned up to it, but I can't find confirmation of that anywhere. That would be very interesting. So if anybody knows about that, let me know. Put it in the comments, please. Thank you.
An orbosphere has been spotted over Iran this evening. What do you think this is? Like and subscribe.
Within 24 hours, the DOJ say that they won't release any more of the Epstein files. The U.S. and the United States of Israel declares war on Iran.
He obviously attacked Iran to distract from the Epstein files. No, I think he's doing it for the oil. No, he did it so that he could invoke martial law because he knows he's losing the midterms. He obviously did it to bury the story about OpenAI signing a deal with the Department of Defense that allows AI to spy on us and deploy nuclear bombs without any human involvement. No, he's doing it so that nobody sees ISIS showing up to schools, churches, and hospitals. He's doing it to justify taking Greenland. No, he did it to one-up Obama because Obama got Bin Laden. This is his Bin Laden. Did it so that we'd forget about the fact that he stared directly into a solar eclipse. He did it so that we'd forget about Kofefe. So that we wouldn't remember he told us to drink the bleach. He did it so that we wouldn't notice the fact that he's...
A nice collection of loonies there.
Well, the last one was kind of funny.
Yeah.
What's with the phrase unalived? Where does that come from?
Oh, it's because they think that if they say the word that begins with K, that some bot
Censor.
thing will pick up on it and censor them. Yeah.
YouTube.
Oh, God almighty.
I mean, I don't know, but I know that YouTube does detect things like explosions and things like that, and it won't let you upload those.
That's what I'm coming to.
I know. I did an intro sequence that had a shot from the Vietnam War. You know, where the girl's running down the road naked. You know that shot? And,
Yeah, right.
and
From the napalm attack.
Yeah, right before that, you see like napalm being dropped and a huge explosion. And I tried to include that, not the naked girl, the who is now a UN ambassador, by the way. But the actual napalm attack, and it would not let me upload it. And I tried all sorts of things to make it do it, and it wouldn't,
Blimey.
Anyway, a few new revelations from the Epstein files now. Enjoy.
The following video is for entertainment purposes only. Pay very close attention to all the details. And then come to your own conclusions. Take a look at this. Any questions? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And once again, this video is for entertainment purposes only. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Alrighty, time for another Epstein Files bombshell of the day. Here we have the autopsy report for Jeffrey Epstein, where the medical examiner who studied his corpse noted that the prostate is slightly and diffusely enlarged, which is curious considering another Epstein file containing a transcript where a man named Richard asks, "You can have high testosterone and still have a need for Viagra because you don't have a prostate, right?" To which Jeffrey Epstein responds, "Correct." Also included in that Epstein file is a medical record for a patient, Jeffrey Epstein, containing advice for someone who has just received a radical prostatectomy. And a radical prostatectomy is defined as a surgery to remove the entire prostate and the tissue around it. A radical prostatectomy is a common primary treatment for prostate cancer, and if you search the Epstein files for prostate cancer, it produces 131 results. One of those results containing a calendar entry showing a reminder to consult a prostate cancer specialist named Dick Merkin. And when you search the Epstein library for Dick Merkin's name, 409 results appear, suggesting extensive communication, and Dick Merkin's legal name is Richard Merkin, which confirms the identity of the Richard in this transcript, confirming that Jeffrey Epstein does not have a prostate. It stands to reason that if Jeffrey Epstein's autopsy report notes the health of his prostate that he himself confirms has been removed, then he either miraculously grew a new one, or that was not his body.
This picture shows a young girl kissing Jeffrey Epstein on the cheek. CNN blurred the girl's face, but the photo was available unredacted for weeks on the Justice Department website. We've known about redaction issues in the Epstein files, but it's much more widespread than we thought. We used an AI tool called Visual Layer to look at 100,000 photos that were posted to the DOJ site, and we found more than 100 examples of problematic images. We reached out to the DOJ about these pictures. They took down all the problematic images and even re-uploaded some with these black box redactions. Selfie-style nudes in a bathroom, what appear to be naked teenagers on a beach, unredacted passports and driver's licenses with names, addresses, and dates of birth that CNN blurred to protect private data. There were even non-sexual but unredacted photos of toddlers and young children, and multiple versions of the same image but with different levels of redactions. For example, take a look at this pill bottle. In this version of the photo, you can see the name of the drug, but not the patient. In another version, you can see the patient, but not the drug. There was also an unredacted version of this photo of a baby getting a bath. Visual Layer downloaded the publicly available files the DOJ posted to its clunky website and extracted about 100,000 pictures and 3,000 videos.
So when you have millions of assets and everything is edited and maintained by humans, then you often have such type of mistakes. So it's possible if there is slightly more effort to do a better job.
A DOJ spokesperson told CNN, quote, "Our team is working around the clock to address any victim concerns, additional redactions of personally identifiable information, as well as any files that require further redactions." Even if all the explicit photos have been taken down already, advocates for survivors of sexual abuse say that once pictures like these are posted to the internet, the damage may already be done.
Worrying stuff, eh?
Oh, come on, man. You got a prostate doctor with the name Dick Merkin? That's a cracker.
I know, that didn't that seem very suspicious, didn't it?
I can't believe they actually went on with that. I heard the name and said, yeah.
If that's true, did they confirm that he had a prostatectomy, or that they talked about one?
I don't know.
If that's true, then the DOJ's been that blasé with all those images and information, just posted it, without checking it. That's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, that was CNN, that last report. So
holy shit, that's outrageous.
If you did have your prostate removed, VD, would you need a Merkin? Or you're pretty right.
You're a Merkin.
It makes you wonder nowadays if the American government is going to do something. We're going to go, yeah, they've done a good job there, haven't they? Ever again?
I know.
It's like the Keystone Cops, isn't it?
There must be something they did. There's got to be something.
They remind me of like the Keystone Cops. The American government is an open tops like Model T, Ford Model T, going around in a circle, honking a horn with steam coming out the front of it, yeah, and people are just falling out, aren't they?
Yeah,
it's just going around an endless circle of mirth, ineptitude. How can you possibly be in charge of an investigation about child pornography and be posting child pornography on the internet at the same time?
You couldn't make it up, could you? You couldn't.
No. And if this was happening like 15 years ago, they would be absolutely frothing at the mouth on the right, wouldn't they? Oh my God, they'd be catching fire with ire.
Speaking of which, to the UK now, and a very quick clip of a very angry woman.
questions why BLM were out. No one questions why Palestine are out. We're saving the kids. We're stopping the boats. We're closing the borders. Look how mad we've all gone. This is real women. This is lionesses. This is the lion roaring. I'm not racist and I don't give a fuck what you say.
Yeah, apparently not. She's
She doesn't seem like a lioness. There's no lions in the UK. Come on.
I bet she smells
like Carmen. Weird.
I bet she smells like a big cat and all.
Yeah. All right, still in the UK, and this ex-army guy is starting his own police force to protect our women and children, apparently.
This is a direct message to all the UK veterans. I want you to look in the mirror and ask yourself this. Do you accept that our women and children are no longer safe to walk these streets? Do you accept that our children are subject to grooming gangs and elite paedophile rings? I don't think you do. It's time for us to step up. We're now rolling out a national plan to how we can stick licensed security, insured security in the most vulnerable areas. How we protect our children in their schools, on their ways to schools. How we protect our women getting home. You need to join me. You need to come together. You need to join this program. You need to follow us. Let me know your expertise, your regiments, so we can include you in our plans. We need to get this done. We watch the public try. We watch all of these different groups protest and try. We're getting absolutely nowhere. It's time for us to step up. Our organisation, our veterans, we're the ones that can make a difference. We're the ones that are war hardened. We're the ones that swore an oath to protect our kids, our children. We're sleeping. We're sleeping while a lot of other people are standing up. Wake up. We've got the public support. The public will stand behind us. The public want us here. We'll be professional. Your expertise will be used in these areas. We will patrol the streets in military fashion, like military platoons like we did when we were in the Middle East. We can't let this go on. We just can't.
Well, we've got that to look forward to. Gangs of ex-army thugs wandering the streets.
Yeah, the sentiment is good. It's just a pity he's delusional.
Yeah,
it's very comforting, isn't it?
Lovely music, by the way.
Oh, it was
you guys, okay?
It was rousing, that music, wasn't it?
I don't know what it was. It from Dunkirk, the movie Dunkirk, or maybe Saving Private Ryan. At first, I thought Saving Private Ryan, but then I thought, no, this is from Dunkirk. I don't know, but anyway, nice music.
What are they going to do exactly?
I know.
What does this actually involve?
Like it's the Middle East.
It's just...
I mean, you're being overrun by Muslims. It makes sense.
I mean, yeah, they go out at night. They're wandering around. What are they going to do?
Right.
They thought this through.
But he reckons they're going to be escorting kids home from school and stuff
in the middle of the night.
I don't want. I mean, you can't have that, can you? You know, they need to all have DBS checks and everything if they're going to be doing that. And I bet you, a lot of them won't be very keen on that idea.
Oh no! I'll pass.
Yeah.
There'll be a few of them. I bet there'll be a few of them won't pass, and not because there's anything wrong with kids, but they've got criminal records. That's the end of it.
Right.
What is DBS?
DBS is the what's it called?
Crime reporting system?
Something barring service. Yeah, if you're working in any kind of role where there's anyone vulnerable, you have to have a DBS check.
You do, yeah.
And sometimes not even that. Sometimes you need it to, drive a van and do deliveries.
You do. Depends where you're working, doesn't it?
Yeah. And they check to see if you've got a criminal record, basically. It allows your employer to see if you have a criminal record.
But if you're a lollipop person or someone who helps kids across the school, even across the road outside the school, that you still have to have it because you're interacting with children.
Right.
And like I say, but if you've got
I had to have a police check just to work in a gaming store because we ran events and shit.
Well, exactly. It should be. But if you've got any criminal record for things like violence, I'm mostly like parking tickets, obviously. If you're got violence in you, there's no way you're going to get. They're going to let you get involved.
Right. That's it. I've just had one actually. I've just got mine. It's at the side of me.
Do you have to smell children now, Jem? Is that why you need one?
No. This is for a different thing.
Oh, okay.
If you go around smelling children, you probably won't get one.
Oh, thank you very much for the super chat, Zane Hale 6. There's some more to that, but it isn't showing me it. He says, music was from Band of Brothers, HBO copyright. Yeah, good point. I'm sure I'll get fucked for it. I thought so. Oh, well. It doesn't matter. Every Sunday, every Monday, I have to go through this process of reinstating the show, getting it back online and getting it so if there is any monetization, which is usually lost, that it comes to me and not to some copyright holder. So I have to go through the show and I have to take out all the bits of music, sometimes entire clips, to make it compliant, because it's always full of things that somebody else owns. Because the other problem is it's not always obvious, because some of these little, like the little funny clips and just anything that might go a bit viral, there are companies out there now that will buy the rights to it so that they can hit people like me with copyright claims when it gets used, elsewhere. So
you see, you got a load of work, obviously all the work leading up to the show, and then you got a load of work unraveling at the other end.
Right. I mean, I don't have to do it. I mean, I could just let other people collect the money from it. It's not like this very much. I don't think many people watch after the live, but
Jim, I think you might need a PA. I think Nathan Oakley's hiring.
Yeah, I might do. But anyway, if you would like to super chat the show, like Zane did, that would be very much gratefully received, because it does take many hours to put it together. I was at it 14 hours straight yesterday because I got a bit behind. So yeah, if you can do that, very graciously received. Also, super chat PayPal link is in the description. If you want to use that, it's even better because I get all the money and Google don't get any. So if you can see your way clear to bunging us a few quid, especially at the moment when I'm trying to pay for all this gardening stuff, it would be fantastic. Thank you very much. I won't mention it again. Now then, speaking of needing protection, here is the UK's Timu Charlie Kirk, young Bob, getting beaten up on 3 separate occasions, although that might not be entirely obvious from these clips.
Fuck it out.
How you doing today? You doing well? So why are you here today?
Get off me! Police! Police!
Do you agree with that?
What happened?
Can I have my press pass back?
Huh?
Can I have my press pass back?
I'm giving it to the police because you...
That's mine.
Well, I don't know it's yours.
It literally has my face in it.
I'm not stealing it.
Has my picture on it.
He came off him.
That is...
You thief.
That literally has my face on it.
There you are then, okay?
You just need to fuck off, mate.
Whoa! Hey, stop pushing, mate! Yay!
Fuck off!
Hey, calm yourself down, buddy boy. Right, don't you touch him like that. You know what I'm saying? Oi!
Oi!
Hey! Hans Christian Andersen.
Put it in my face.
Yeah. People.
You're not welcome.
You know what I'm saying?
You're not welcome.
I have the right to film anyone in public.
The police just let me go, and they sent me on this side because I'm friendlier. But my camera is a bit toshed. As you can tell, the white bits there weren't originally there. They nicked my mic. My nose is now swelling, so it's nice. It's going to be nice and purple in a couple of hours. Yeah.
So it's not all bad news.
Yeah.
Looks like your media is getting their comeuppance.
He's got a very punchable face, though, let's be honest.
Yeah, he's the youth ambassador for Turning Point UK. Is his actual?
For fuck's sakes!
Yeah,
he's not going to get to 30, is he? Let's be honest.
So why is he not talking to kids if he's the youth ambassador? Why is he talking to adults?
Well, he's trying to appeal to kids with his channel, isn't he? And he wants to. He wants these sort of confrontations because they go viral, right? It's And it makes it makes the political opponents look bad, like they're suppressing free speech and what have you, which they are. You know, I mean, they are, their behaviour is bad.
I've got a prediction, Jim. He's going to be
I don't blame him because he's an arsehole, but it's still wrong. Sorry, go on.
Right. No, I was going to say, I'll make a prediction here based upon everything I've seen here in the last couple of years since I've been here. Okay, right? He's going to be our Prime Minister in about 25 years' time.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. I bet you he'll end up in office somewhere.
He will definitely end up in office somewhere.
It's scary. I'm glad I've got that allotment. I can hide there.
Well, I should be dead by then, so...
Yeah. All right, where are we? Are we on this one? Yes, a little background is required for this next collection of clips, so listen carefully. Here in the UK, Prevent is a government programme to identify and discourage cases of potential radicalisation in our youth. It includes a game called Pathways, which featured a character called Amelia. Amelia has since been hijacked by far-right commentators and has now become a meme. In this clip, we will see a short excerpt from the game, the government game that is, followed by the right-wing AI version that is plaguing social media platforms. I hope that all makes sense. Enjoy. Meet Amelia.
In this game, you will be presented with scenarios that require you to take action, like hearing something hateful while gaming or watching a provocative video on social media. From the 3 alternative options presented, you will use your mouse to select one based on the information given and what outcome you think this will have. The choices you make will determine the route your character takes. Remember to be aware of getting trapped in risky or harmful situations, as the different choices can lead to situations involving extremism and radicalisation, damaging the outcome for your character. Charlie has been enjoying a family dinner at home when they receive a notification from their friend. Charlie's mum makes a comment about using phones at the dinner table, but Charlie checks in anyway. Amelia, Charlie's close friend, has made a video encouraging young people in Bridlington to join a political group that seeks to defend English rights. Amelia encourages Charlie to join a secret group on an app Charlie hasn't heard of before. Charlie isn't sure whether to join, explore further, or ignore. Charlie thought the video the friend posted was so funny. They couldn't believe how many likes Amelia's memes were getting. It was inspiring. Charlie joined the secret group on this new platform. Their phone wouldn't stop buzzing with messages of support and invitations to participate in several similar groups. Charlie's mum was not so pleased and grew suspicious of all this new activity their child seemed to be involved in.
From London, England, Amelia, she's come to fight Starmer and to fight for her country. She's from the government's propaganda game Pathways.
They tried to make me the bad little goth girl in their sad little Prevent game, but joke's on them. Now I'm the waifu of the entire right. Imagine being so fragile you have to turn a fictional college girl into a terrorist warning. That's how you know they've already lost. Don't feel bad for loving your country. They say I'm racist for loving my country. No, darling, I'm just allergic to being replaced. Simple as. Oh, you're offended by my mini flag? Stay mad while I wave it harder. Our veterans are sleeping on the streets, while the government let in illegal immigrants on small boats stay in hotels and get free phones and money. So I'm here in America in Nevada Area 51. Please, we know Keir Starmer isn't human. Can you take him back for the UK's sake?
Hell no, woman. We hate him.
So yeah, I'm English, I'm goth, I'm proud, and if that triggers you, go cry about it in your safe space while I go touch some actual English grass. Stay mad, bro.
Stay mad, bro. So English.
How
He's almost not bad as goth as I am.
That is not goth.
Yeah.
Is there any Americans in? Can you ask Donald Trump to get us to have a regime, bomb us into a regime change, please, as soon as possible, please? This is what AI. This is far scarier than Skynet. The ramifications of this kind of shit.
It's all over Facebook. These little clips of her doing. Obviously I stuck loads of them together there, but her eating fish and chips and drinking a pint and all. Just loads of it.
I mean, you can tell it's. Oh my god! She's fallen out of her bra, and her skirt's so short you can see her breakfast. I mean, this is like one of those fucking online girlfriend shit things that go around, isn't it? Really.
But also, the other thing is though the comparison. I mean, the right-wing version is so much better than the government version, isn't it? I mean, it's so much more engaging.
Well, the people who write the government version are doing it at work as part of a small part of being at work, whereas the people who are doing it for the right wing, they haven't got jobs, so they've got more time to do it better, I suppose.
But also, I wonder about that game. I'm not sure that's entirely fair,
Yeah, sure. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's pigeonholing people and it's oversimplifying things in a way that anybody is in social media is going to basically see through in about 10 seconds flat.
Yeah.
Because anybody our age has absolutely no idea how someone of 17 or 18 interacts with the internet right now. We have no idea. It's a bit like 70-year-olds in the 1950s thinking they know what the ramifications of Elvis Presley are to 14-year-olds. It's just daft.
They sort of suggested though that her entry into these groups, her taking this on, was because of positive social media feedback. It wasn't because she believed in any of the causes. It was because lots of people were liking her posts, sort of thing. And I thought that the sort of things that they were saying to, the protest that they were going to, I didn't know whether they were. I don't know. I get what they're trying to do. I get that that's the beginning of it. They're trying to get people at the beginning, but it does sort of. I can understand why right-wing commentators have reacted badly to it,
Sure. And I think a lot of young people will just look at that and think, "Oh my god, that's literally a Charlie Says advert, isn't it?"
Right. Yeah. I mean, Gertrude is just saying he just had to do his prevent training, and I've just done prevent training as well. So again, so you can work in a school with kids, you have to have it now because you're supposed to be able to spot this radicalization going on, or the beginnings of it.
If the government agencies can't spot radicalization that leads up to someone shooting up a school, then what fucking chance do you stand?
Well, interestingly, young Bob, who we just saw getting beaten up, his parents referred him to prevent, but there's no obligation to engage with it, so I don't think he did, or it obviously didn't work with him, did it?
Or he just likes money.
Isn't he in his 30s? Yeah. Why are his parents referring him anywhere?
Oh no, he's young Bob. He's only like 17 or something. I think he might be 19 now. But
why did they choose that name? Young Bob was always it's evocative of Blackadder. Now it's been ruined.
I know. It is annoying, isn't it? I mean, he is quite eloquent, and he has been at protests where he's just been able to stand up and just speak, and that is quite a gift because I don't think I could do that, not without notes,
Sure.
But he can just stand there and just speak.
Oh God.
I know, it's frightening, but I've seen him do it, so I'd like to be able to say he was cheating in some way, but he wasn't.
Anybody who's 17 and can stand unprompted and has got a full ammunition of rhetoric needs to be arrested straight away.
Right.
That's going nowhere sensible.
Well, it's like you say, like they always used to say, employ a teenager while they still know everything. Yeah. Okay, a couple of word-themed conspiracies now. Enjoy.
This is pretty bizarre. I don't know who has seen this or not, but at the most recent UFC fight during the pre-show, on the Vegas Sphere, they ran some pretty questionable wording, and they did it at lightning speed, almost like subliminal messaging. So I'm going to play it at normal speed. I'm going to play just a clip of it, and then we'll slow it down and really see what they have to say.
Investing with the UCPI in Mexico, he sees what they do, how they show up, how they support their fans. So it's amazing to me to see the growth of the sport. The Mexican fighters are here. The Mexican-born fighters are...
And slowed. They're pretty obvious, like right here. You know, the people that would say it's just words, it's not just words. Why would you put those things in there? Everything has meaning, and everything in this world right now is trying to just detour us off the path of God and get us away. Even this stuff, even the subliminal stuff. Right here. All intentional. Pretty sad world.
New conspiracy just dropped. I'm calling it the baby conspiracy. And it's where you're trying to teach a baby a word, and you tell them, say mom, say dad, say truck. How come they only say the second word? They never say the word say. How the fuck do they know what say means?
How the fuck?
Oh my god.
Were they saying...
I say their firstborn child, please say the word mother. That's exactly how it goes, isn't it?
Was she saying the UFC was sending those messages?
I think so, yeah.
Because they use non-American spelling in some of the words.
Yeah, that would make sense, because I believe it's actually from the first event that was held at that thing, the Sphere, which was a U2 concert. And during the U2 concert, they had these random words coming up, which apparently was a nod to some former tour that they'd done at some other time in history, where they'd had like screens with random words coming up. So
if that's the Zoo tour, I think it was the Zoo, wasn't it?
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah,
I might have got that wrong. I read about that. The part of the rhetoric of the show was they were literally flash flooding the imagery with hot words in Google searches over the ear.
Oh, right.
Which would kind of make sense, I suppose. And if they're trying to do, was it the Zoo? Europa tour? Or I can't remember what it's called.
I think that is. I think it was Zoo. Yeah, that does ring a bell.
Yeah. I remember reading about it, and they were saying that they were taking stuff out of search engines and shoving it up.
Right. That would make sense. Right.
It was an automated process, I believe. It was vetted for. This thing ran. It was vetted for obscenity, but other than that, they didn't actually guide it any other level above that, because obviously broadcasting at a concert.
Right. Interesting.
I can't be alone in thinking the internet was a mistake.
Every day I get closer to thinking it was a mistake.
Yeah, me too.
How would you have Jim's Flat Earth Sunday roast without it?
But it's not the internet, is it? It's things on the internet. It's certain things. It's particularly social media, isn't it? And the nature of social media that.
Yeah, it's probably more social media than the internet in general.
I don't know. I can't. It promised so much. I can't just give up on it. And it delivers. Yeah. It delivers as well.
It is very useful, and we have to remind ourselves that most of the stuff that idiots produce is only watched by idiots.
Yeah.
So it maybe we'll survive.
It's just there's so many idiots.
Oh God, there's no shortage of idiots.
No,
we need a variety.
Well, I mean, like Ricky Gervais is off. Well, no, it wasn't Ricky Gervais. It was Carline who said, you got to remember that half the population is below average intelligence.
Right.
Yeah, and the average person is just sick as fuck.
Yeah. and half the people are thicker than that. Right. Okay, to the flat earth now, and we kick off with a compilation of flatty TikToks. Enjoy.
Bro, that's all you need? That's all you need? Well, son of a gun. All you had to do was ask. Okay, so let's say this is Polaris, and I am directly under Polaris. If I look straight up, I can see Polaris above my head. As we walk away... Oh, what's happening? Oh, Polaris is lowering, and lowering. Appears to lower. So, same reason why, if you got a drone, you hover a drone 50 feet in the air and you stand directly under the drone. Back away from the drone, and your vision will begin to lower more and more as you get further away until it goes into the horizontal horizon. Obviously, you can't see forever. It's called compression. It's not difficult, bud. Time to wake up.
Hey, man, the Bible isn't a flat earth book. Come on, Carl, how many times do we have to go through this? The Bible says 11 times that earth has foundations. 3 times earth does not move. 3 times earth has pillars. 3 times compares earth to a footstool. 2 times earth is at rest. 5 times earth is fixed. All God created on day 2 of creation was the firmament, and he called it heaven. And then God says 17 times that he stretched it out. Not that he stretched it out 17 times, it just says 17 times that he stretched it out. He might have only stretched it out once. It compares it to a tent, a molten looking glass that has to be hammered into shape. It says 6 times that there are windows in it. 3 times that the sun, moon, and stars are in, as in inside the firmament. Earth hangs on nothing, but is described as standing and sitting. In one verse, it literally says the deep places are in God's hand. The Bible describes it as being stable, established, and established. Okay. The Bible's a flat earth book.
So there's a gentleman out there named Taffy, posted a video. He's going down a hill and trying to claim that this is curving as he's going down the hill. What he doesn't understand is this left to right horizon and the length of this left to right horizon in the video and the distance of his eyes from left to right versus the distance what we're viewing in the camera is different. He didn't explain that in this image or his video. Why? He drove down the hill and said, look, the curve is curving as I go down this hill. Make that make sense, please.
I love it when the Bible comes to life in real time because I get to prove it to all the naysayers out there. And I believe we just found proof of the waters above. In the beginning, God said he separated the waters from above from the waters below. Don't act like you guys can't hear that water up there. Need I say anything more? The Bible comes to life.
Okay, so let me take a little crack at the final experiment, final observation. It's not an experiment. Anyway, let's just cruise right here. Look, 3 seconds in. You see that little cloud right there? All right, now we're gonna go at the end of it, and see the little cloud right there? Above it again? Right there. Right there. Alright, let's put them side by side. The bottom is the beginning, the top is the end. And there's the cloud. Now let's look at it slower. There. Wow, look at that. Right in line with each other, right over the same mountain. What's the chance of having the exact same cloud, the exact same shape, the exact same spot 24 hours later? I don't know. Okay, this shadow is different. The tripod is gone. And this cloud right here is gone. Now, if this was a show, is it possible that they forgot to edit out this little cloud right here? Even the sun flares look the same to me. I don't know. Okay, so here's our two clouds right here. Now let's go back a little earlier. Right there. Right there. Look at those two flares. Two flares at the identical 24 hours later at the exact same time. I want to say totally busted. Let me know what you guys think.
Oh, check out this lovely coffee table. You're going to love this.
Turn on the news, it's all a lie. Elites in suits deciding who lives and dies. Gates on stage, smiling wide, talking population like it's genocide. They own the airwaves, control the feed. Big pharma profits while the people bleed. He stood up tall in that headlight glow. 2010, let the whole world know. 6.8 billion headed to 9, but with our shots and health design, we can lower that 10-15%. Didn't say kill, but that's what he meant. Jabs, healthcare, reproductive control, saving the kids, nothing in the soul. Big pharma pockets lined with gold, while we line up doing what we're told. Government pushes the needle deep. Media calls us crazy if we speak. Bill Gates wants less of us on this earth, talking depopulation like it's rebirth. Shots in our arms for profit and gain. Big pharma laughs while we feel the pain. Government lies, media spins the tale. Wake up, fight back, we will not fail. We will not fail.
That is a fucking ugly piece of furniture, isn't it?
What a piece of shit.
Why would you waste so much table real estate with that stupid dome?
I know, it was awful, wasn't it?
I've seen a lot of epoxy resin poured on YouTube, and that is the worst piece of crap I've seen.
Oh, no. Oh,
and the music as well. I remember a time when I was younger where like country rock, if that's the correct term for that kind of thing, yeah, it was all about angst of some woman leaving some man, yeah.
Right.
Now it's like, talking about Bill Gates culling the population. I mean, what the fuck's going on? Is there a bar somewhere where someone sat there
That's
singing
where he
that?
talked about reducing birth rates in India or something like that, and
Oh God!
through vaccination or something.
I mean, it's not exactly a coffee table, because the middle of it you can't fucking use.
I know, I thought that. You're not going to put your feet up on that, are you? The great Gertrude Perkins says, I am so looking forward to Nathan Oakley's disappointment when his book fails to sell and TV radio presenters mock him and Dr. Brian Cox tears him a new asshole. Yes, that will be lovely. We get it. Actually, it's funny you should say that. Oakley is next.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Get to see him get struck by lightning?
Not quite, no. That's someone else. Oakley seemed quite upset by his recent encounters in worldwide debates Discord server. He's so upset he is now threatening violence. Have a listen.
Same applies to people like Bev. Yeah. Bev's there to misrepresent what I do. I don't know why he's doing that, but that's what he's there to do. I unpack what creates a globe, and Bev ascribes it to me personally. Again, if he was in person, he'd get pain for that. That's what he'd get. That's the result. That would be the upshot. He'd be in pain. It's like, you're going to lie in my presence about what I do and ascribe things that are not mine to me because I've unpacked them. Like, that's disgraceful. I'm not doing that to him because I don't care about Bev. But the reality is, these people care about me. Yeah, so Uruguay guy gets told that his son's not moving in two different directions. He gets embarrassed by me. What's his result? What's the answer? Is it to go and demonstrate the son is moving in two directions? No, try and get Nathan shut down. Yeah. All of these people want to make it personal against me. This guy wants to tell me that I've got bad teeth and I've got a skin condition. But then when I say you'd have been bullied in school, you'd have had your head flushed down the buck. Threats of violence! Yeah, okay, whatever. Hypothetically, I described how they would have been treated in school. That's what I've done. And it's absolutely true. All of the people that I described being bullied in school is true. I've seen them. And I've met those people in school and watched them be bullied for being irritating pricks. Now, I'm not saying it's justifiable. I'm not saying that people can justify bullying others, but they come across pricks and go, you know what, I don't like you. I'm going to flush your head down the bog because you're an irritating little twat. That's what happens to people like Bev and people like the Uruguay guy. Like, you've just described how the sun's going in two different directions. I've pointed out that it's only going in one. It's only going from east to west. He agrees and then says, but I can show you how it goes in two different directions. And then gives a subjective direction. Like, you aren't listening. You have admitted it's going in one direction, and now you want to tell me it isn't. Yeah, flush your head down the bog. That's what would happen to you in high school. They'd have been bullied. For being pricks. For being irritating pricks. You're like, well, why would I want to be around you? For being an irritating prick? And describing how, in reality, when you fuck people around, they want to beat the shit out of you. In reality, that's how people behave. That's how people are. That is to say, if you behave like an irritating prick, people don't like you. Now, they express that in many different ways. One of them, back in high school, was flushing irritating pricks' heads down the bog. That's what happened to them. Why? Not because they were really nice kids that were friendly. It was because they were annoying little twats. That's why. Uruguay guy is one of them. An irritating twat. Like a dose of thrush. I was that delusional 10 years ago. I thought by going out and tracking the sun, I was doing something important. I wasn't. It was a complete folly that ascribed flat Earth to me and the group I was a part of. Bev would have been bullied. And that's why he would have been bullied. When the headmaster got the big bully in the room and said, why did you dunk this irritating adenoidal little fuck down the toilet? I would say, well, because he was bullshitting everybody and lying to them, making up stories. And he just annoyed me, so I decided I'd do something about it. And that's what'll happen to Bev. He'll be making up shit and somebody will turn around and say, you know what, you just need a slap. That's what you need. You need a slap around your fucking dumb lying head. That's what you need. If that don't straighten you out, then I'll escalate things for you. Because if you're going to keep lying and bullshitting people, then there's going to be consequences.
Yeah, they can't help it. Even Elderbear said, yeah, we're doing a show. It's not about Nathan, but it's called, and he titles it Nathan's whatever. Flat Earth Measurements. I forgot what the title was, but is he that retarded?
Yeah. And what's he actually doing? He's misrepresenting what I unpick from globe believers and ascribing it to me. So as he destroys the globe in how it's been produced, like, well, where does the bottom half of the antipodal positioning derive its measurements from, if not Polaris? It's not my system. I haven't invented this. Go and ask them. Well, you talk about it. You're the only what? No, I'm not. It's bullshit. You're a liar. At that point, yeah, you'd get your head flushed down the bog. Yeah. This is me and only me talking about it. I got this diagram from a book in the library. But yeah, it's only me talking about it. Well, I've only ever heard you talking about it. So in his delusional worldview, if he's the only one to hear it from one individual, that's the only person to have ever talked about it. Like, your logic gets your head flushed down the bog. That's what you get. That's why it would happen. Now, that would be explained to you by the bully doing it. But you'd feel wronged, wouldn't you? Oh no, I faced physical violence for my lies and deceit and misrepresentations. So all of the things that have resulted in you being in pain are okay. You're allowed to lie and deceive and be disingenuous and misrepresent people's positions. But as soon as there's some consequence to you, you're the first to go, I want retribution. I want Nathan shut down. Yeah, of course you do. Yeah? Because what, so you can get away with your lies and misrepresentations without anybody calling you on them? You think I'm the problem? Yeah, of course, because you've been caught lying and I'm the one highlighting it. So if it wasn't for those meddling kids, what, you'd have got away with lying and deceiving people? Yeah, that's what Scooby-Doo teaches you. The delusional guy in the mask thinks that the problem is the kids who've caught him. Yeah. I will continue to point it out if I come across these people and in the middle of highlighting how they've utilised the flat earth measurement, they start talking through me. I will continue to point out, in reality, this would get you punched in the mouth. If you're doing this in front of somebody, if you were standing in a bar and somebody's in the middle of explaining something and you just start talking while they're talking, pretty soon that person's going to punch you in the face. Yeah? They're just not going to tolerate it from you, right? If you want to say, Nathan's inciting violence, no, I'm describing what would happen to you in reality. Now, these beta dicks don't like that. Yeah? They want it to be tolerated. Their behaviour, being shitbags, being capable of just chat skanking straight through the top of something proving them wrong, that they want to be acceptable. Getting punched in the mouth in reality. In a bar when that happens. Yeah, that's how bar fights break out. Yeah, bar fights happen. And they happen because there's normally some adenoidal little prick being an adenoidal little prick. When someone says, this is why this adenoidal prick's being a prick, let's unpack what he's just said. So what he's done is, yeah, bang! Suddenly they got a broken nose. That's what happens. But they want to be the oh so powerful beaters. Yeah, these are gammas, secret kings. Secretly, I'm right. Now, him showing that I'm wrong, that needs stopping. Because then everyone around me will realise I'm a fraud. Now, here on the internet, I can do something about it. I can talk while he's talking. And then if he shuts me up, I can moan about being suppressed with a mute button. I can make it about how bad he is. Aren't I clever? Yeah, on the internet, you can get away with that. In reality, you'd be on the floor bleeding. That's how it works. Piss people off in that way, that's what they'll do. They'll subject you to violence.
Oh, the irony, eh?
By his own logic, is he advocating violence against him?
I think he's projecting, isn't he?
Absolutely, isn't he? Totally.
He also certainly likes his new word, adenoidal.
Yeah.
I think
he sounds it himself.
I think because this is new rhetoric, we've not heard this kind of stuff, certainly not a year ago. I think he's been clouted.
Yeah, I think that he's that was my thoughts, that he sounds like someone. You know, I've been in this situation a couple of times myself where you end up in some physical altercation with people and it doesn't go brilliantly, you know, and afterwards and when it's all, you know, when they've gone away and you're there with your mates who are involved in it, you'll go, if I'd had, you know, I would have smacked him in the mouth and broken his legs. And you're all full of what you would have done if only some aspect of it had been slightly different, right? And he sounds
fantasy vengeance.
Yeah, he sounds like that to me, you know.
He does, doesn't he? This is the same bloke. This is the same bloke going, can you take the mic off them, please? Can you take the mic off them, please?
Right, exactly, yeah, exactly. Yeah. We've seen what he did in real life, and he didn't smack anyone in the nose.
Yeah.
He just demanded that they be silenced.
Yeah, and as I always say, you've only got to go to Nathan Oakley 1980, scroll right down the video list on YouTube, and there's the biggest, soppiest, treaclest, foppiest, wimpy little ex-drama student starting the first set of, you know, in his foray in this you could ever imagine. He's not fucking The Rock, is he?
Right, exactly. It's,
you know what I mean?
It's funny you should say that. It's very, very close to the intro to the next clip. Shall we do that? We might as well, because it's more of him doing similar. More from Oakley now, and he is getting worse. It turns out that rather than being the only boy doing drama at GCSE, Nathan is actually a hard-man gangster that has a string of arrests for breaking people's noses.
I know what you are. Yeah? You're all the same. You're all adenoidal little scrotes. Tiny little sad men. Weak. That's what you are. Now, I've put it in this term on last Friday's show about them taking brave pills. That's what it is. Here, there's no consequences. So I can chat straight through the top of you with no consequences. Yeah, but what would the consequences be? if we were in real life. Yeah, I'll point it out. A broken nose. Now, I'm going to smile while I say that, because those are the facts in the matter. Yeah? They can get away with it. What are they getting away with? Not having their nose broken? That's what would happen in real life, though. Now, if you want to say Nathan's inciting hatred, what, describing how men behave? No, I don't think so. You can try. You can say Nathan's inciting hatred. No, I'm saying that if you did this in real life, there's a good chance someone would break your nose. Because it's true. That's how society is when dealing with little gamma and beta twats who think that they can just chat skank through the top of somebody who's standing right next to them. They wouldn't dare. They will online because they can get away with it. Yeah? What they're getting away with, not having their nose broken. That's what they're getting away with. Now let's highlight it. Okay? Yeah? You think you're being clever? No. Irritating Uruguay guy would have been bullied at school because he'd have still been the same personality, and he learned very quickly not to do that in society. So he found a little home to do it where there wasn't any consequences. What are those consequences? Broken legs, broken nose, being stamped on, having the shit kicked out of you, having your head flushed down the bog. Those are the consequences that they're getting away with when they behave like that online. Because they can get away with behaving like shitbags, lying, being disingenuous, using their mute buttons. But we all know what they are societally. We've seen them, we've met them in society. And in society, these are the people that are looking at their shoes, looking at the floor, that won't give you good eye contact when you tell them not to do that. They'll look away. Yeah, they're the kind of person that you grab by the chin and go, no, you'll look at me in the eye while I tell you not to do that again. So that you know what the consequences will be without me having to tell you. Yeah? To get around this awful truth that you need a horizontal distance, and horizontal distance is ascribed in this example, you're going to lie. It's a trundle wheel that you're getting it from. Have you got it from a trundle wheel? I could. Future tense. Bang! Broken nose. You want to lie to my face? I'll just break your nose. That's it. Simple. No, you haven't. You haven't done it. You're lying. To my face. But here, you don't get your broken nose, do you? You get to lie and talk through the person that's pointing out your lie. That's what you get away with. But that's all it is. Getting away with it. Yeah? Getting away with something that in society you wouldn't get away with. And you can create this impression like there's this huge group of nerds. A whole bunch of adenoidal little twat-faced, snot-faced idiots. There isn't. Society is not made up of people like you. It's not. Now, you can create this impression by endlessly liking your own comments. That does make me laugh. All right, so what, you think that by seeing 11 thumbs up on your own comment, that makes it real? That makes it true? Now, you're delusional. Now, you know you've gone back to your own comment with 11 different accounts and liked it of your own volition, but does that really convince you that 11 other people liked your comment? No, you want to give an outward impression through lies that 11 people agree with you. They don't. But you've got to lie to achieve that consensus. It's sad. And I'm here to point it out. I know what you are doing. Yeah? When you write your graffiti on the toilet and then in different handwriting write further comments like everybody agrees with you. It's sad. But you're only deluding yourselves when you do that. And it is pathetic. I'm going to start highlighting it. Society does not like the people we oppose. The bullshitters. They're not liked. Yeah? They probably know this. They just hate it being pointed out to them. I'll call it. I'll call it for what it is and describe how it had been dealt with in society. So that they know that all they're doing is hiding in their little echo chambers, the very thing they try and project onto us. Like, no, I'm afraid not. That's what you found. You found solace and protection from the internet. Living in a fantasy world. That's what you're doing. Living in a delusional world where you are the secret king. Online. Like, yeah, step out your front door for 2 minutes and see how society actually treats you in reality. It's not how they treat you online. Yeah? When you bullshit them.
The more you go in these servers, the more you're keeping the debate that's not a debate alive. Sorry, but that's just a fact.
Yeah. People like it because they like going to the circus and watching a lion roar and fight. That's what they want. I am that lion. They want me on the little stand being whipped and roaring at the lion tamers. That's what they want. Well, by comparison, the lion tamer, in reality, if the lion wasn't chained so that he can't reach the lion tamer, it would rip that fucking lion tamer's head off, wouldn't it? It would just eat the lion tamer. Well, what have we got? Metaphorically, I'm chained because there's a million miles of fibre between me and them. That's what they need this to be. Fuck that. I am in control of what I do. So I don't need to stand on their pedestal, chained, so they can poke me and whip me. Fuck that. This lie, the globe lie, if you want to call it that, will fall. It is inevitable. You don't need to do anything. It will fall of its own volition. I absolutely guarantee you of that. You don't need to do anything. When I describe not dying at sea, finding our way, that's a practical use of Earth as a flat plane. There aren't any practical uses for a sphere Earth beyond its original intention. Trying to explain epicycles outside of the box thinking by way of utilising flat Earth elevation angle measurements that were taken to track the light movements, and then the explanation afterwards coming by converting the ground that's been measured flat for the angles into sphericity. That's what it's used for. Its only practical purpose is to try badly to explain epicycles. That's it. In reality, you would be given short shrift by the people who are bigger than you. That's the reality. The people who the rest of society does like. Now, it's not a pleasant situation to face that men are aggressive. They are. And it does often result in consequences for those aggressive men. Now, I didn't expect to be getting praise for describing the aggression that these people would face in reality when they're deceitful, when they're disingenuous, when they misrepresent their opponent. But it is just a fact. That's the life that we all have to face. Men are men. That's how we behave. Sometimes, as I say, gets those men in trouble. I've been in my fair share of it. I've spent enough time in the insides of cells to know what a police station looks like, to know how irritating it is to wait for hours and hours and hours to be questioned about the person's nose you've broken. But I've broken a few noses in my time. I understand the consequences.
Yeah, sure you have, Nathan.
Oh my god. Someone get that man some Viagra.
Yeah, he's a jailbird. I've been in a few police cells.
Right.
Fuck off.
Don't fuck with me, sunshine. All right.
Right.
When did you capture that?
I thought he worked. I thought he worked in the circus, but he seems very confused about how lion tamers work. That the lion isn't chained. That's the point of the lion tamer.
Yeah, it says people love the circus. I am the lion tamer. I says Papa the elevation angle clown.
When did you record that, Jim? When was that broadcasted? Recently?
Yeah, fairly recently. He's on.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, within the last couple of weeks, I guess.
I noticed Gakushi was in there.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was there, encouraging him to go back to worldwide debates.
I've seen so many police cells. You haven't no fucking idea, you fuckers. Does he not know what everyone has seen for them in the last 15 years?
I know. I mean, it's just ridiculous, isn't it?
So, does he genuinely think that the society likes him?
I know. That's the weird thing, isn't it? It's like
so much hot calling the kettle black.
We've seen flat earthers get punched just for being flat earthers out in real life. We've seen that happen.
It's not right, but
no, but I've never seen anyone get punched for being a glober or saying the Earth's a globe.
No,
I think Joby got for doing that on Fish Tank, right?
I think it's probably maybe the adenoids might be spherical.
I think Joby got punched for being Joby, probably.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, go on.
He only knows that he's broken. I would have thought it would have been his own. And he just trips over his own bloody shoelaces.
Yeah. I really don't think it's a good idea for him to be broadcasting himself on live cam while talking about how tough he is, because we can all see him, right?
Right. And
He doesn't look very tough.
And I think his
No, he
address.
does
Somebody said his address is publicly available as well. I can't remember where they said they got that from, but there was something.
Company house.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
NathanOakley.co.com. He's got his own company. He's got his own name, date of birth, middle name, home address, and he's online threatening people to, I mean, what the fuck's going on, man?
I think anybody with a pair of boxing gloves would give him a bit of a pounding.
Have you seen him on Facebook?
When did the
No.
He cuts this because all those microphones. Anybody notice the lovely neon pink water bottle next to him? Ooh, just like the Craze had.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he's surrounded by all those microphones. When he gets off his live feed, he's on YouTube and Facebook going, "Hello everyone, this is the Pioneer SV74 double diaphragm magneto microphone. This was sold in 1972. Got 2 of these ones for sale. Contact me if you need." It goes back to normal Nathan Oakley, the sort of nerdy geek that got punched at school.
When did this tough guy persona come out? Was this when he shaved his head? About the same time?
I don't know. I mean, I'm of an age where I've got a lot of. I'm surrounded by a lot of men who are struggling with male menopause, midlife crisis, failing sexual virility. There's a lot of ways in which this kind of thing manifests itself. But this is such a departure from where he was 2 years ago that it's you have to think something's going on, don't you?
Yeah.
Dare I say, you've got to get a bit conspiratorial.
Yes.
Given the way he looks, is it not meth?
Who knows? A final Oakley clip now where he updates us on his book, which he is expecting to be so successful he may need to employ a PA. Enjoy.
Yeah, the book will come out. So it's not very far away. Easter's very close. We're talking, 4 or 5 weeks? And we're on chapter 9. So once we've produced it in a full book format, which is to say that instead of it being files with each individual chapter in, it's one file with all chapters in, aka a formatted book. That'll then go through the same rough editing process. That is to say, it'll be passed on to somebody to check spelling, and we'll go through it again to check grammar and check that the order's right. So that's about the only thing that will really change once it gets to the 8th draft. And that's to say that the order of the chapters might be altered. It might be that you have the Coriolis effect chapter before the gravity chapter, or the R-value chapter before the, I don't know, self-perpetuating molten iron core chapter. Whatever. The order might change. But ultimately speaking, the actual content, even though it is going through alterations in the editing process, is there and is accumulated. So it's already 99% there. But yeah, bit of polish, make it a professional product worthy of a relatively high price tag, and then it'll get published. You'll be able to buy it. How long it takes to get various stages of the publication done, that is to say, I don't know how long it'll take to go from being the immediate and easy way of putting it out in terms of distribution, which will be an e-copy. That is to say, you'll be able to download a copy and read it on an iPad or a phone. From there, it'll go into the process of establishing how we can get a hardback and a paperback copy of the book out so that people can have a physical copy of it. But in the meantime, once it's ready to go, it'll be done. There it is. Here's a link to it. And immediately I'll start going out on a tour to publish it, to publicise it, I should say, so that people can be made aware that there's a book available to be bought. And that'll involve me and my wife contacting various different individuals. Thank you so much. I should do a plug for that now. To all the people who've sent me links to and just names of various YouTubers that they would like to see me out and about promoting my book in front of. So thank you very much if you are one of those individuals. I've got a reasonably long list. I might actually grab it and read it before the end of the show so that people can get an idea and get excited about, maybe 1 in 10 of the people on the list being somebody that I'll actually sit in front of and talk about all roads lead to a flat earth, the housekeeping questions and the process of coming to the conclusion that Earth's measured flat anyway. That's something else in the editing process that I'm currently doing. So for all of its foibles, the book is now at the point where I'm introducing this most recent rhetoric into housekeeping. So where we are describing a downward vector for the rebellious gas particles burning their bras in opposition of the second and third laws of thermodynamics to reach absolute zero, simultaneously gain weight, and travel in a vector opposite to the way that they were originally travelling, those rhetorics are all now being peppered with up a perpendicular vector to a plane of flat Earth reference, down a vector perpendicular to a plane of reference, altitude to describe the Kármán line being an altitude described only from sea level, if given any credence in reality. These are all the type of injection that the book's getting as a consequence of, number one, getting fucked over by a couple of friends, but ultimately the delay has caused the rhetoric to evolve to the point where it's much more concise, and the housekeeping questions to have within them incorporated a description of every single, well, not every single, where necessary to make the point without it getting tedious, the highlighting of a flat Earth prerequisite whenever one is used. So it makes sense in terms of the title of the book, All Roads Lead to a Flat Earth.
I was going to say, this might be a good time for you to do like is it an autobiography, the one you write about yourself?
No, yes, autobiography is when you're writing about you. Biography is when you write about somebody else.
Right. You could do an autobiography video or a video autobiography about the process of writing a book and going on tour. And put that in the back pocket just in case you ever get famous. Like, you know, if it does blow up, like some people have said, then you got like a cool little movie you can, you know, move out to people.
I mean, there might be a second book. Maybe. I mean, hopefully there'll be the need for a second book. And while I'm writing it, like me explaining the dweeb's requirement for this exciting knowledge that sends everyone else to sleep to aggrandize themselves in a hypothetical bar with a table they're hypothetically standing on. That kind of information is a dissection of the current rhetoric that we're refining as we speak, as opposed to housekeeping. So while I'm explaining this to my wife during the process, I'm like, should I insert that as an extra paragraph? Her answer, no. If you end up writing a second book, that's what that will contain. You know, your dissection of the process that you've gone through, as opposed to what housekeeping questions were argued about, brought to conclusion, and now laughed about in terms of how flat Earth had to be for you to argue those points. I mean, it seems stupid, but that is what we're currently doing. What I'm going to do now, though, is I'm going to read out my list of people. So these are the names that I've been given quite specifically from my audience and indeed from the panel. So I'll come off camera because I look a bit too sloppy with my feet up looking at my iPad. So we've got Jesse Lee Peterson, Alex Jones, Eddie Bravo, Joe Rogan, Mark Sargent, Godfrey, if you know who he is, black guy who does a podcast, Killer Priest, Infinite Plane Radio, The Higher Side Chat Show, Bro Sanchez, Eric Debate, Dean Odell, Martin, that's Flat Earth British formerly, Fisherman in a Box, UK Morning News, UK Phone Booth Podcast, Owen Benjamin, David Weiss, Stephen Chess, Jay Dreamers, Russian Vids, Nick, Phuket Word, Morgile, GeoShifter, Patricia Steer, if she's still around, Martin, Mike Tyson, Candy Sowens, Taboo Conspiracy, Jaron, Dave, Dell, Witsit, Vice Media, Russell Brown, the Higher Side Chat. Oh, these are ones that people have actually given me email addresses for. BBC Breakfast, Good Morning Britain, Joe Harvey, Tom Cohen, Kelly Brogan, Dave Murphy, Alex Zeck, Steve Faulkner, Level Earth Observer, Level Earther, Count Dankula, Tim Dillon, Old Sterling, John Campbell, Joey Barton, Carly Vernon, who else we got? Jonathan Smallscreen, who that is, Jack Bendwood, and Man Carrying, I don't know who that is either. There's a couple of others, Daily Agenda, IBT, Toy Cat, a gamer YouTube channel again who I'm unfamiliar with. So there's a fairly extensive list of maybe 2 or 3 dozen So what I've been doing to keep my wife motivated is sending PayPal. So if you recently, in the last, 3 months, sent me a PayPal, it immediately went to my wife to incentivize her to keep editing the video. Rather than me paying an editor, it's like, well, I'll give you what I get from PayPal. That's specifically what she said she'd like, thinking that you should get 5 or 10 quid. But more money came in via PayPal specifically because I've mentioned this. This is probably why I'm mentioning it now. But yeah, if you're one of the people that supported me, knowing full well that I'm just going to send it straight on to my wife so that she can keep motivated to edit my book, it's worked. You know, we've worked on it almost daily since that time. Now, I'd like to keep that up. That's to say, I'd hope that this will have a positive impact in terms of increasing ad revenue and increasing the YouTube general finance that I get from doing this as a YouTuber, which will mean that instead of me having to flog mics, which is now coming to a close, I think I've got 30 mics left to sell on eBay, and rather than 100 listings, they're trickling through really slowly. So there's no longer a mic mountain in my bedroom getting in the way, so they can just stay as they are. But to all intents and purposes, I've got no more mics on the way here and haven't had for about a month, and there's very few being sold on eBay. So I'm hoping that financial revenue stream will directly get replaced by the book. But also, as a consequence of going out and promoting it, there's a certain increase in my revenue. But that means that I can hopefully continue to give my wife money that I get from my PayPal and motivate her to contact people that are on that list on my behalf as a third party, because I think she'll have more success doing it as a third party rather than me contacting them and then getting into the debate over email. If it's just, would you have this particular individual on my show? Or it might be the case that if I do really well, I get a PA or whatever. Who cares? The point being that it's nice to be able to financially pay another person to get in touch with these individuals. I think it was John originally that said this is the way I should view this, that I should get a third party to actually go out and contact these people.
And if you PayPal me, I promise I won't send it to Nathan's wife. The link is in the link is in the description and in the chat. Thank you very much.
What a pretentious prick.
Oh, isn't he?
God.
Why is he insisting people pay his wife? Is he on benefits, I wonder?
I have
good
several questions
question.
to say
I don't know.
about the publishing process. It's nothing like he's describing. He's going to self-publish because anyone accepting flat Earth material is going to put it under fiction, which he would not accept, right? So if he's self-publishing, he has to do everything. He has to be the one to spell check it and grammar check it. This is all him not doing this. For how long? How long has he had this book that he's not grammar checked?
A couple of years he's been doing it, isn't it?
Well, they're highly motivated. They've been working on this book virtually every day.
Yeah.
My
But
I'm just so blown away with so many of those. These are the podcasts that he thinks that he's going to go on. Alex Jones, Eddie Bravo. He's going to go on Witsit, Witsit has disappeared from the face of the planet. Alex Jones thinks that Flat Earth is the dumbest thing he's ever heard of. Eric DeBay fucking hates Nathan Oakley. Like, what the fuck is this going to be about?
Right.
Yeah, and I'm surprised Jem Panda to get mentioned.
That's the thing. It just I don't know how he thinks that that's going to work, because essentially he's just another guy on the internet saying that the Earth's flat and has written a book about it. Why is Joe Rogan going to be going, oh, yeah, we've got to talk to this guy? You know what I mean? It's just another idiot saying the Earth's flat. The internet's full of them, you know?
Yeah. I mean, he may actually get on the Eddie Bravo show just because Eddie Bravo is actually a big fan.
Right, yeah, Eddie Bravo might. That is a possibility, yeah.
But let's remind ourselves that this is the Nathan Oakley recently. He's been going online saying, punch you in the fucking nose to every nut job. Every nut job who antagonises them online, including those in the UK, who's imminently going to go on a book tour, where he's going to sit in bookshops where people are going to queue up to see him and turn up and say, "Oh yeah." He's going to get punched.
Well, I think his book tour he's referring to online, isn't he? He's talking about.
It's online, is it? Oh,
I think he's talking about going on various podcasts and things, but. You know, most of those people, like, for instance, he said one of those was Level Earth Observer. Well, he doesn't do, like, live shows. He just does daft, look at this NASA video. Look how they fake this.
I've also noticed Jaron was one of the names he mentioned. I can imagine Jaron would be stoked to have him on.
Right. He's not going to have him on, is he? Eric
not entirely, isn't he?
I mean,
you let him on this channel.
Better stuff, right?
And then one of them was Joey Barton.
If he wants to come on this channel, I think it would be great if he came on this channel. That'd be funny.
If anybody doesn't know, Joey Barton was an extremely violent soccer player, as you Americans call him. Mediocre, Premiership, top level English player. Yeah, continuously in trouble for violence on the pitch, and since he's left the pitch, he's got himself in kinds of conspiratorial stuff. He's got his touch. He's just basically just on the edge of everything.
Yeah,
was he the one that was in the video? Sorry, the commercial with Mark Sargent peeing in the fountain.
Can't remember if it's him or not.
No,
I think it was.
I don't know about that.
I mean, he's just dumb as fuck.
Oh,
he's headed the ball far too many times, Joey Barton.
Right. Rick Hummer is a once prominent flatty who was the MC for the Flat Earth International Conventions. He was big mates with Rob Skiba and was with Skiba when he made his idiotic boat trip across Lake Michigan to prove that Chicago wasn't a mirage. Here he is on Mark Sargent's Strange World show telling us about his Flat Earth journey.
So good. But hey, Rick, welcome back. And
welcome back, Rick.
So excited to hear more about your journey into Flat Earth and just knowing that you have such a history with Rob Skiba and you were hosting the events. I mean, you've had a front row seat to some of the most kind of groundbreaking information. I'm talking about testingtheglobe.com. I know you were right there on the boat with Rob Skiba.
Yeah, well,
Chicago,
that's how that even came about, was when we were talking. When I talked to Mark that day, when I first came, into this whole thing, it was like, wait a minute, let me look into this, because I called Rob and I said, hey, and I was telling Mark this too on the phone. I remember telling you this, that I could see Chicago across Lake Michigan. That was at least 50 miles. And Rob was like, no way. I'm like, yeah, you can see that far. You can see the city, man. And so that was always on the front burner for us, was let's do it. And literally I was watching the news, the nightly news that night. I was watching the news in my local market, and the guy Tom Coombs came on TV, and Joshua Nowicki had sent the picture in of Lake Michigan, and he actually, what you're looking at here is a mirage.
Right.
And I was watching it in real time, like, no way. And I was like, get the phone, see what he's saying. And I sent the video to Rob. I'm like, this guy's saying that it's a mirage. It's not a mirage. There's no way it's a mirage. And we even made the joke, and if you go back and watch the video of Rob and I on the boat proving that it's not a mirage, our little joke is to put the little Schwarzenegger accent in, like, it's not a mirage. It's not a mirage.
Nice.
It's not a tumor. So we were doing that on the boat, and we show that it's not a mirage. It's not a mirage.
Isn't a mirage supposed to be upside down anyway?
Can you get some weird things going on? Sure you can. When you get a curtain of humidity or particulates in the air between you and 50 miles of a city that is like this big on the top of the water, and it's getting cut off due to magnification and the way light comes down and refraction and all the science that we had to learn about lensing. And it's been a long journey, guys. But that was the thing, is I got hooked on it in the fact that I had something happen to me. I didn't have to question it. I didn't have to question it anymore. I knew exactly what was going on. That goes back to the "you can't write this stuff" video, and the lightning strike thing that happened. And that happened on a very significant time, how that was connected. But I told Rob we should start doing our own experiments. There's got to be a way of doing it. And there's got to be a way of doing this Lake Michigan thing. So we put that on the front burner literally at the very beginning of this. And we stopped working on seed. Like, it was more flat earth stuff. Like, one night I'm like, are we ever going to work on seed again? Or are we going to do this flat earth thing forever? He's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And he did not want to jump on board on this. He was adamantly kicking and screaming because of all the NASA stuff. And he was a big sci-fi guy. Obviously, seed's a sci-fi journey. So anyway, long story short, between all the characters we developed and all that, it all just kind of went, let's put this back here, let's bring this flat earth thing over here, and let's figure out what's going on.
Because it's so captivating. It just grips your whole, all your attention. You're just like, I need to know more. I need to verify this. There's so many questions that come up, and then it starts to, fit these puzzle pieces that have been missing in our brains for any of us who have just kind of been walking the earth, knowing like, yeah, how would we tell if it's spinning or not? And, you know, are we really going around in the sun? And it's like, it answers these things that just never felt right.
Well, and that's just it. When Rob finally came around, we did enough tests that he could see, like, oh man, I'm like, dude, you're not a flat earther, you're a biblical earther. You're coming from the biblical side. You're trying to take this down that road. And, you know, I told him, I said, you know, think of it this way, Rob. I said, we were all taught that it's infinite, that we don't mean anything. And it's just, it goes on and on and on. It's vast, it's so big, it's this and that. And that you're just nothing from stardust. And that's what they're teaching the kids. You know, that's that little hidden agenda there, that you don't mean anything to the creator. And I said, it's not infinite. I said, this proves that it's intimate. It's not infinite, it's intimate. Yep. Like we mean something to him. And they don't want us to believe that. That's the rug that needs to be pulled right now, is we can prove they're lying. And that's when all the, you know, Mark had already put all that stuff together with Flat Earth Clues, and then Eric Dubay stuff was huge at the time. Even Matt's stuff was big. The Matt
Boylan,
Boylan. His stuff was big at the time. I had listened to.
There's also Matt Long.
Iru. What's that?
Matt Long as well.
Oh, Matt wasn't around at that
Not
time.
yet.
No, Matt was No, he wasn't. He wasn't around. He wasn't doing videos at the time. He may have been, but I don't think he was doing one Flat Earth. But no, it was those guys, the guys I'm talking about. And then I started watching. I think it was Iru Landucci, Bob Nodell, and those guys were all already doing some stuff. So then there was a guy in England I listened to a little bit. There was Nathan. I listened to him. He was always entertaining. But I started getting connected with guys online. On the chats, you know, on the sides, on the comments, and I ended up hooking up with some guys that were in Europe, and then one guy that was from the States, and we created this little thing, little side group on Facebook, our little group, side group. It was called FE Core, and we were going back and forth with all the science stuff, and you know, what about this? What about that? How do we do this? We need to get a microwave. We need to do line of sight. We need to, you know, so it was really fun to get involved with guys that were willing to actually work together. Because what I saw online was, we did this first. I was like, why don't we get everybody together, bring the minds together, and we'll be able to get more done, and we'd probably have more resources in the long run if everybody would just come together. And man, I couldn't believe all the infighting and this guy's a shill. Look, listen to me, I'm the authority. This guy's a shill. I couldn't understand that. I really couldn't understand that lane, and I just wanted to stay away from it. And so we started doing the whole FE Core thing. We started thinking we could do this, guy. We could actually start a 501c3. Which was the biggest mistake ever, because the government's going to put their nose in your business. And at the same time, it fell apart. You know, after COVID, we were doing some things. We actually still own. It's over in Hungary right now. We still have a microwave transmitter and receiver system that would actually do a really long test over water, and it would be line of sight, and it shouldn't be there if we could get the. I should call Sandor. I should probably do that, because that would be a fun experiment. Because my goal was to go where Rob and I were at in New Buffalo, Michigan, and set the transmitter up, get the right permits or whatever we got to do, and shoot the microwave across Lake Michigan and have it hit the receiver right in front of the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, right on the grassy area there. It'd be awesome.
Work through says, super chat gem, else bang! Punch in your face. Yes, that's true. Or better still, PayPal me. Let me post the link again. Hang on, here it is. Oh, and thank you very much to, I'll say to Al, you know who you are, who did in fact PayPal me. So thank you very much for that. Now, where were we? On Rick Hummer. What are your thoughts?
He sat there saying, go on.
They don't know about microwave ducting. That's what's happening.
I love the way he sat there in the room saying, I couldn't believe about all the infighting with Mark Sargent in the room.
Right.
Fucking hell.
I know.
I mean, he's the king of flat earth infighting, isn't he, Mark Sargent? Let's be honest.
He's done a fair bit of it, that's true. Caused a fair bit of it.
And what happened to the poor Reverend, that the flat earther guy? He's yeah.
Oh, he died, didn't he?
Oh, we know what happened to him. There's no reason to do that.
All right then, more from Hummer now, and he tells us his best flat earth proofs and a familiar story of life trauma leading to conspiracy belief.
Well, while we're on that topic, why don't you tell us what are your 3 kind of favorite silver bullets for the globe, or your top 3 flat earth pieces of evidence that you just kind of default to if you're trying to explain it to someone? What comes to mind?
Water. Properties of water.
Okay.
Number 1. Number 2, you see further than you should, especially with infrared. There's at least 4 for me. We put balloons up in the air. Rob and I were part of that group of the guys over by Ohio State, over in Columbus, Ohio, and we put balloons up twice. And the footage that we got, the curve wasn't there. Wasn't what they did. And I found out that they lied. They said that the camera that they had was going to be the closest thing you get to a human eye. And when we got the camera back off the balloon, I actually plugged it into their computer and put it on the garage door in their shop. I put it on the garage door track, which is perfectly level, and I was doing the whole thing. Oh, look at the curvature! And the guy came over and unplugged the camera on me. And that's what I told Rob. We got to go. We got to go. These guys they're not doing this in an honest fashion. We got to go. You're going to get shilled, dude. You're going to get trolled. It's going to happen. And so we got out of there pretty quick that day. After doing 2 balloon launches with them, they were acting cool, but then it went sideways real fast when I found out what the camera was.
And so what was happening inside? I mean, as you were kind of uncovering more of this evidence and it was just giving you more of that, I would imagine, conviction, were you guys just so energized to keep going? And how were you feeling?
I went into it prayerfully, man. I really did. I'm like, God, what is going on here? Like, this would be huge. What do we do with this? And I just want to know, like, I'm open. I'll accept the truth, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'll accept it.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of went into it. And that's why I told Rob, we should just do these experiments ourselves. You can't, everyone's going to say, oh, they faked it. But if I don't care what anybody else thinks, I'm going to know it. And before we could even do that, that's when the lightning strike thing happened. And it was the same day that
Which I love that story. We should break it down because that's my quote is you can't write this stuff because you can hear in your voice just the conviction that maybe if you were, and we will get into kind of how this can help someone's faith and it takes you on that spiritual journey. Sounds like you were already doing that. You were praying for discernment and truth.
I had like, man, I ran a pretty wild, fun life doing broadcasting back in the day. You got treated like the stepbrother of a rock star wherever you went. You were the connection to the rockers. You were the connection to the country stars. You were the connection to Hollywood. Because you were the one talking about them, and you were the guy on the radio. I'm the guy with like a wedding singer. I'm the guy with the microphone. You can listen to every word I have to say. And so basically what happened was I went through some trials and errors in life and struggles. And one day it just kind of hit me. God just kind of put me face down on my own carpet, in my own house. And I realized what I was doing with my life and I wanted to make a change. And I just said, help me. And he did. He changed me. And it didn't happen overnight. I didn't just quit going out and hanging out with my buddies and doing things, but it did. It changed my heart. It changed who I was. And it changed the creature that I was. It made me realize not to take things for granted. I had lost my dad. I had gone through a divorce at the time. And I was running like crazy. I just didn't care about anything. And the 9/11 stuff was happening at the same time. I'd lost my job. I was going through a rough time and wouldn't wish it upon anybody. As far as when you're alone and you're thinking thoughts like, you idiot, beating myself up, listen to that. And it was just like, boom. And then once I realized, I'll take whatever truth you want to throw my way. I'm there. I'll do it. I'll help other people out. I'll do whatever I need to do. I'll use my talents. I'll be your servant. What do you want me to do? And that kind of started a whole domino effect in my life. And like I said, I wouldn't trade any of it. I would not trade any of it.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, one good thing, kind of getting back to your guys' point about how in 2019, Flat Earth was like this juggernaut, couldn't be stopped. And then COVID hits. COVID helped me personally to just pay more attention to the conspiracy theories because I was already into, 9/11 and alien stuff and moon landing possibly being faked. I was kind of already ruminating on that, and then seeing the world shut down, the way they were handling it, and then forcing us to and lying to us about how long it was going to take and the jab and yada yada yada. But then it started to trickle into Out of Shadows, which is from that Hollywood stuntman Mike Smith, who's talking about the Hollywood elite and these rituals and these things that now, fast forward to today, this is 5 years later since I saw that documentary that just blew up at that time, talking about there's weird things going on, and the flat side has always been paying attention to it. They it's again goes back to that discernment. It's so interesting to me, and for you to have 1 degree of separation and knowing it wasn't for you. I mean, I think that was obviously it's like saving you in some ways from something worse.
It makes things a lot more clear, but at the same time confusing. It's a catch-22 type of thing, because you know it, but then you're like, well, why? What is the real reason to this? And then you have to really go in deep and realize there's multiple levels to this. There's money, there's education. Like Mark will tell you, universities would collapse. The education system would just be in a whirlwind if they had admitted this. I mean, think about all the people that spent all that money for those degrees, and then they realize, like, what? The alum that give all the funding to these schools. I mean, I can only imagine what would happen to Notre Dame. Oh boy. And they're gonna fight, kicking and screaming. Again, it goes back to, was it Mark Twain? It's easier to lie to a person than get them to believe they've been lied to. So there you go.
So there you go. Mark Twain said it. That's all you need. ISA says, or Flat Earth Court says, big up Jem, putting in the work for the show. Spreading FE like Rupert Sheldrake said. 600 miles navigated as flat in plain sailing. Let the boats over the curve go. Oh, he's like a broken record, isn't he?
That was excellent.
Anyway, that was Hummer.
He promised 4 pieces of evidence: gave, water, and you see too far. And the third one was something about balloons, and then he never mentioned the fourth. So right. I mean, come on, he just has the same old bullshit: water and you see too far. God.
Right, it's not impressive, is it, at all?
Well, what does that actually boil down to? One, the physics of water. So essentially saying, I'm completely ignorant on the subject, so I've developed some buzzwords. 2, we see too far. I said, you've never actually calculated how far you should see in a situation. Excellent. 3, balloon test that you got a story about that no one can verify. Lovely. I'm so happy for you.
Well, he's actually got a bit more than that.
Here's number 4.
A final clip from Hummer now, and Rick receives a message from God. Don't believe me? It's recorded on video. Take a look.
So once you started to accept it, I mean, okay, how far into your guys' investigation and doing your experiments before you just like, you know what, it's flat, and you started owning it? Sounds like it happened quick for you, but maybe not.
Play that video if you got it. Let me set this video up. So do you have it? Do you have that video?
I don't have it right this second. No.
Okay, don't worry about it. The video is quick, but I'll tell you, this is what happened. Or Mark, if you can pull it up. So that day, my wife was gone, and I had to get my daughter ready. But like 2 o'clock, she was supposed to pick her up like at 2:20. They were going to go to a wedding shower or a baby shower. So I'm like, okay, cool. So, but Rob calls me, and we're probably on the phone about 15 to 20 minutes, and I was already kind of running late. So Rob calls me, and he's like, man, I just did it. I go, you did what? He goes, I just took down my channel, and I put up the Genesis "I Don't Care Anymore" song. And I went, wait, what? He's like, yeah, man, I'm sick of it, dude. I'm sick of how, I just can't do it. I'm like, okay, hold on a minute. And I tried giving him the old football coach. I'm grabbing the face mask, but you can't, there's no crying in flat earth. And I was doing all, and I'll never forget. He was like, I can't do this right now, man. I got to go. And he hung up on me. That's the only time Rob ever said, I got to go. Without saying bye, he was like, I got to go. He was so mad that day. So he hung up, and when he did that, I looked out and I saw a box on my front porch, and that box was a box that I had packed in the early 90s before I left for LA that had some of my childhood toys in it. And I had been to my grandma's. She had passed away a couple months before that, and I had been to her house, and I had grabbed the box. And I'm probably going to repeat some of what it said in the video. But I grabbed the box, and I knew it's something I want my kids to have someday. And obviously that was why when I packed it, I'm like, my kids will play with this someday. And that's exactly what I looked. I saw the box and it made me think of Azariah. I'm like, oh, that's the box, the toys. I forgot it was there. And I was like, what time is it? I'm like, oh my God, I got to get in the show. I'm like, Azariah, you got to go. Come on, I got something I want to show you, and you'll play with the toys in the bathtub. That's what I was thinking. Just going to get her in the tub, get her out, ready to go. Totally spaced it. When I opened up the box, what got me was I had told Mark and I had told Rob both the same story, and I didn't say this earlier. One of the things I told Mark is I got kicked out of class back in 1984 because we were doing a class project where you put 5 or 6 kids in the desks and they'd make the circles, and you got the 5 or 6 desks over here, and we were doing maps and globes and tools of geometry. And I was the artist back then, so everybody's like, Ricky, you do all the maps. And I'm sitting there doing all the maps, calling everybody's workbook pages in, and then I'd hand them back to everybody. And while we were talking, I just don't remember how it came up, but I remember talking to one of the guys. I'm like, remember when we saw Chicago across Lake Michigan? And it was like when we were Cub Scouts or something, we were kids. And he's like, yeah. And the teacher came by and said, you didn't see Chicago across Lake Michigan. I'm like, yeah, we did. You can see Chicago. No, you can't. It's too far. Guy starts getting in an argument. I'm like, well, you can call me a liar. He's like, you're lying. I'm like, I'm not lying. I said, but you can call me a liar, but you wouldn't call my dad that. My dad was with me, and he sent me to the office. And the principal brought me back because the principal asked me why I got sent to the office, and he took me back to the classroom. When he got back to the classroom, he called the teacher out. Everybody was still doing their little assignments in the classroom. He comes out and he's like, hey, you know what I do for the summers, right? And he's like, what's that? He says, I'm in the Coast Guard. He's like, well, yeah, I knew that. He's like, how many times do you think I've seen Chicago across Lake Michigan?
Wow.
And the teacher didn't want to say it. And did I think about flat earth at the time? No. I just thought I could see it. I didn't think anything about the water being a natural level when it's undisturbed. I never thought about the properties of water. And so I got sent back to class, and I told Mark that story. And I said to Mark and I said to Rob, all within a matter of a week at that time, I'm like, I wish I could get those workbook pages and see what they had taught us and see how they had trained us in our minds at the time. And sure enough, I go out on the front porch that day, and the rest is history.
Should we play the
clip?
clip?
I wish I had that folder. I wish I had the workbook pages. That's what I remembered, that they were workbook pages, but they were actually papers in a folder. And somehow that folder ended up in that box that I did not put I did not put that folder in there in the 90s when I packed it. I don't know how it got there. My mom didn't know. My aunt didn't know. I don't know if my grandma did it. I don't know why, because it was 7 feet up in the air on a shelf in the very back of my grandpa's garage. And anyway, that's it. So yeah, here's the video.
See it?
Yeah, now we can.
Now we can, yeah.
His beloved, yeah. And contextually, maybe that scripture may not tie into what we're doing, but at the time, that was what was on my mind. Is there's liars out there that are telling us what's going to happen in our future. I mean,
For the past 2 weeks, I've been catching flack from all kinds of people about the flat earth and doing my own tests to see if, in fact, some of the things that we've been taught aren't true. I do like to question things. I'm not going to just take somebody's word for it, because I don't believe the 9/11 stories and all the hijinks of the geopolitical world, and I definitely don't trust scientists that don't believe in God. It's that simple. So my grandma passed away a couple months ago, and I had to go grab a couple things out of the garage of hers. And I had this box that has just been sitting right here on my front porch for the past 4 or 5 days. I haven't even opened it. I just knew it was my old box because it's an old Nike box that was probably packed in the 90s. I just literally opened it. I knew that there was something in there for my daughter that she would want to see. And in there, you can't write this stuff, by the way. In there is a folder that says the Ricker Hummer Social Studies 1990. Look at the Nike Air. Look, and it's so weird that that's on my folder.
I was paying attention in class
from back in the 80s, probably, obviously, because I graduated in 1990. So I've been praying about confirmation from God about the shape of the earth. Okay, I know. You've been looking for all those. I know.
She found the toys.
So here's the folder.
the Ricker, 1990, social studies, whatever. I opened this up. February 1st, 1984. Rick Hummer. You can't write this stuff, man. Rick Hummer. Maps and globes are tools of geography. I looked down. I'm going, okay, what is it? It says, do you know the answers? What were the early... What does that say? The early... is that ideas? What were the early ideas about the shape of the Earth? Watch closely. In my own writing, it was flat. And lightning just struck as I said that.
Cue the lightning.
It was crazy. Now listen to the thunder. Like I said, shaking the house. You can't write this stuff. Do you follow me?
You follow me?
As I'm making this video, that happens. Wow. Let's go inside, kiddo. Don't be afraid.
There you go. A message from God.
I thought lightning was.
Well,
a
I'm
message
convinced.
bad from God. You know, like
I think the message is that he's wrong, and that's satanic to say the Earth is flat.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, when he's told that story before, he said the lightning came down right in the garden, right near him, you know, on his lawn, sort of thing. And that clearly isn't true, is it?
you say,
Well,
I've
there
had
wasn't
lightning.
even that delay for the thunder.
Right.
Yeah, I've had lightning, and you hear a double boom if it's really, really close. Believe it or not.
Yeah, I've been very close to lightning, and it was like the loudest thing I've ever heard. It was so loud. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, and you don't have that delay either. Yeah, no lying. I mean, come on. If you're gonna lie about something not like.
And I
involving the delay.
noticed on that playthrough, right at the beginning, you can actually hear thunder in the distance. You can hear a little bit of rumbling going on. So, who knows what he set up there, but it all seems very suspicious to me. You know, it's a folder from 1990, but the paper's in it from 1984. I mean, what kind of kid is that is so organized that they managed to keep a folder of papers straight for 6 years? One folder? That seems unlikely. I don't know. Anybody else got any thoughts, or shall I just shut the fuck up?
It's just it begs belief. Like, how easy would it be to fabricate a paper like that? Really fucking easy.
Right, you just download it, and you know, it didn't look like a child's writing on it, did it?
No, and if he's saying he's class of '90, he'd have been in 6th grade whenever that 1984 paper would have been written.
Right.
It's just
how old is
unreasonable.
How old is 6th grade?
6th grade, he'd been 12.
Right. Yeah, that didn't look like a 12-year-old's writing. But anyway, just for a little bit of a change, some not flat Earth for our last 2 clips. But don't worry, it's brought to you by some top flat Earth bullshitters. Here, Marty Leeds and David Weiss tell us how plasma holography was used to fake the Charlie Kirk shooting.
Anyway, hey everybody, I'm here with Flat Earth Dave, obviously, and I'm on the ISS. And what are we talking about today, Dave?
We're going to talk about Charlie Kirk and how so many truthers, real ones and fake ones, cannot see through this deception. It's shocking.
It is pretty shocking. And so we're going to actually just bring up a few. We're going to try to make this as tight, as succinct as possible, but we're going to just bring up a few things that are huge anomalies that we want to focus on, because they really should be the things that we should focus on and really to unearth what's kind of going on here. And I think the main thing that we want people to know is that this is a big magic show. That's what it is. You're dealing with occult, dark, Kabbalistic magicians is what you're dealing with here. One thing I want to say before we get going here, we shall always remain the fool. We shall always remain the fool until we understand that the world is run by magic and magicians, okay? So, and that's the problem, is right now is that we have a lot of these alleged truthers in the truther sphere that are basically not recognizing that what these people, one of the things that they use is the tools of magic. So, so let's first talk about, where do you want to start here?
I mean, there's so many stuff we've talked about where, you know, what the people that were there saw was different than what the people online saw, and most of the people there, there was most of them, in my opinion, and there's lots of evidence to it, were staged, were crowds on demand, were agents. But even if there were students there, which I believe there were 20, 30 yards back. Marty, when you see somebody get shot in the neck from 20, 30 yards away, what do you see? You don't see very much. He was only there for a half a second before he hit the floor, right? And so you go, everybody runs, and they're like, oh my God, he got shot. I saw blood. You know, if you're lucky enough to have seen something like that. And then what do? You look at your phone, and you're watching it on X, just like we were. You were there, but you watched it on X. You didn't see it.
So the main thing that we're trying, and there's a few people out there that I know online. I think it was Brandon, I forget what his last name is, and Dustin Nemos. There's a few characters out there that have basically put this forward. That basically what we're dealing with is holography, specifically, right? You were pretty much the one that actually got this into my ear last year, early. I think it was last year. And that really got the ball rolling with a lot of this stuff, because you have to realize that the level of technology that these people have is way beyond what is actually put out. And people just know this. R&D, Black Ops, R&D, it's usually 25, 50 years, sometimes even more ahead in design than what they put out. And the perfect example of this is, we all know 2001: A Space Odyssey. 2001: A Space Odyssey was released in 1969. What was 2001: A Space Odyssey about? AI. What they were letting you know through Hollywood is that they had that technology, yes, in the 60s. And when was it rolled out? We all know, just, fairly recently, if you will. So this is the thing that we're trying to get into people's heads. So when Dave and I speak today about the advanced holography that we have, people will automatically go to, whatever they saw, the holography that's on Star Wars or whatever it is, right? That's what they go to, and they're not realizing that this technology is extremely, extremely advanced.
Let me chime in there. When you say holography, there was the comparison to the 10 by 10 holography setup that people have there. That may have been part of it, but there's rotoscoping, real-time rotoscoping, live AI overlays which are being done. If you look at the video, I broke down the first video that came out of the actual shot with the gush, and his wound moved without his neck moving. And then you can see different panels. You can see overlaying. It's like the old picture of Saturn. When you zoom in on it, and crank up the levels, you can see all this. All of these were mistakes, either on purpose or not on purpose, for the revelation of the method. They always do tell us what they're doing. I can't decide which one it is, whether they're purposely or just horrible at it. But there's so many things wrong with this.
What people need to know is that, and you can just look this up on Google, Grok, whatever you want, there's multiple different technologies that will actually create holography, and it's actually pretty old. There's light field displays, there's volumetric displays, there's laser plasma holography, which is the one we will talk about specifically. There's aerial projection systems. There's things called Pepper's Ghosts. There's LED hollow fan displays, where there's like a fan that goes like this, and then it will literally create a display in front of you. There's stereoscopic versus realistic dynamic holograms. There's holograms that are literally, as he's saying, you can do an overlay and it's opaque. You can't see beyond the hologram because it's literally put in your view. So just to let people know, so it's like, well, how do they do this? How do they do this? Well, you're trying to think archaically in this sort of sense of what you understand with the technology, and this technology is very advanced. The one technology that we can absolutely say that we know exists, that the military has, and they've had it for a long time, is plasma holography.
Number 4, the Ariel Burton Laser Plasma Holograph. Burton Inc. is located in Japan, and they are proud innovators who managed to succeed in creating true 3D display using plasma technology. This creates amazing opportunities for further creations because the light can be viewed without the need to bounce off of any surface and use mirrors or glass. Specifically, the technology they use is a 1 kilowatt infrared laser, which is focused on direct points in the air by a 3D scanner. This causes the molecules in the air to be ionized and thus create a plasma. Now, we can't imagine all the possibilities that this opens, but we're sure they are going to be more than impressive.
Plasma holography does not require any screen. It does not require any sort of thing to bounce off or anything like that. It is holograms that they can literally use a laser and put it right in midair, and you would not be able to tell the difference. And we've actually, Dave has had some, a friend in Microsoft that's actually directly experienced this when he was working with Microsoft. So when we say, oh, you holography, well, where's the thing that it's bouncing off, or where's the fan, or anything like that? Well, no, they can do this in midair. And what we're saying, at least what I'm saying, I think Dave would probably agree, is this is exactly how they pulled off 9/11. There were no planes. Those were holograms. And this is why those planes, and I'll put the video in here, just like butter through that building. It's because it wasn't metal hitting metal, and we all know that. It was a hologram, which means that they were using this specific technology in 2001.
Yeah, and on top of this, I mean, this is the real kept secret. You know, we all know about AI videos. There's also deep fake videos. People don't know the difference between them. A deep fake video takes a real video and changes it. Like you and I could be in a video together, and they could swap our faces, or they could turn you into Ghislaine Maxwell and me into Jeffrey Epstein, right? I'm not going to be Ghislaine. You're going to be, and you know, they can do all of that, and so there's different artifacts to look for, but there's so much they could have done here, and you know, one thing they didn't do is shoot Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. And that's the thing that we really need to get into people's head, is that they have crazy advanced technology. We're even seeing this. It's rolled out into our time. So when we try to go and be like, well, how did they do this? And how did Charlie Kirk go and throw hats? He was obviously there. That absolutely could have been a hologram. And everybody that's in the first 20 rows or whatever it is, those are all just people that are, you know, as he's saying, crowdsourced CIA, whatever, that sort of thing. That absolutely could have been a hologram that you were looking at. And most of those people that were in that sort of area, yes, they could have absolutely been holograms. Do we know that for sure or not? No, but we have to put that in people's head that, yes, the technology exists, and it would be really easy for them to do this. So.
Do you think that he could have been there and it was just a swap out or overlay or whatever?
Yeah, very well could. That's the other thing that could have happened. Charlie Kirk absolutely could have been there. He could have been out front shaking hands and doing all the things. And then as soon as they went behind this little tent, there's a holographic overlay, and then they do their little magic show. They do their magic trick. Let me just say this too. The thing that people are not really getting into their heads is that you can go to Vegas, today, and you can spend literally hundreds and hundreds of dollars to sit in the front row of David Blaine or David Copperfield, and there's a stage there, and they perform all their theatrics, and they can do all sorts of crazy stuff right in front of your eyes. They can make people disappear. You can cut people in half. You can do all these sorts of things, and you're wowed. It's literally right in front of you. You're paying for it, and people are like, how are they doing this? How are they doing this? And nobody has an explanation for it except the people that are actually performing the magic show. This is the level of people that you're dealing with. And if you don't get this in your head, then you're always going to be, falling for their tricks.
I wanted to throw a little thing back in 2014 when we first started talking about the flat Earth, and showing the picture of the blue marble. The Globers' argument was they didn't have Photoshop back in the 60s, right? That would be their argument. They didn't have Photoshop. I think they had AI in the 1800s, if you ask me.
They obviously had some sort of photographic manipulation technology. As we know, you can look at back as lots of people do with the Tartarian stuff like that. Those are obviously manipulated photographs. How are they doing that without computers? What we're saying is that yes, and everybody pretty much knows this. Even people in technology, they're like, yeah, the stuff that they're working on behind the scenes is really crazy. And then of course we have all this billions of dollars that go into black ops, literally, military. Or you don't think that they're doing crazy stuff behind the scenes and then showing it to you? Of course they are. Just use your common sense.
Just use your common sense. It's magic. They've got magic.
They had AI. AI caused Hitler and World War One.
Yeah, well, they had it in the 1800s, so why not?
Mm-hmm.
Makes perfect sense. Anyone else got anything to say?
So, big question. Why did the guy have a globe behind him?
Oh, I don't know.
He had a picture of Earth from like space.
Oh, right, yeah. But he said he was in the ISS. I guess he's trying to make the point. Look how easy it is to fake stuff, I guess.
I'm speechless after that. I mean, that is just weapons grade derp right there.
I know, just really dishonest, isn't it? To sort of say, look, they've got this technology, and you see it, just managing to make a butterfly in the air or bits of one. And then and then they try and claim, say, well, we know, look, here's the technology. They used this that made this rudimentary butterfly to produce a full color image of Charlie Kirk that people couldn't distinguish from the real thing. I mean,
apparently there's no such thing as fiction anymore, because he said that 2001 was real, that because he wrote it back. So apparently nobody can write anything fiction. All fiction is true. Harry Potter must be true.
Right.
But
you can't write anything about must be true. You can't write anything about the future or anything like that. Because
right.
If you do, then
it's as ridiculous as the idiots who think that the final experiment was done in a studio.
Right. Right, that was, but I meant to say, I kind of had that in that compilation earlier, but the guy claiming that an obvious lens flare that appears for a moment was a cloud was ridiculous. But anyway.
I've heard that. That's not the only guy who said that.
That was just because they looped the video, like they, synced up the end of it with the start of it so that it could run in a loop.
No, I think it was at different times, because you can see there's different clutter. The tripods are not there for some of it, and they are in others.
Yeah, I don't know.
And he
I still think
even went back. This guy even went back like 20 degrees off and found another lens flare that was the same as 24 hours later. And I go, wow, the sun's in the same place. It's giving you the same lens flare.
Right.
Wonder why.
That's the thing. All right, more from these pathetic liars now. In our final clip, Marty Leeds does a really honest scientific experiment.
Exactly. So that's the main thing, is that, so when you look at this and you try to look at the CK shooting, the Chuckles Church shooting, and you're trying to put it, use the information that you have in your head and lay and graft over it to make sense of it, well, you don't have all the puzzle pieces, and you're not thinking of all the things that we know that they have, at least, like the plasma holography and things like that they absolutely could be using. They also could be using all sorts of different things, like you're saying, AI overlays, multiple different holographies, just changing the video before it goes out, whatever it is. There's all sorts of things. So I think that's the most important point that people need to realize, is that, if you think Charlie Kirk was just this regular dude and he just came from nowhere in 18, he built this huge thing all by himself. No, it's a Hollywood production, guys. It's a Hollywood production.
The problem is a lot of Christians, and they say, "Oh, Charlie, he's such a good guy. He's pressing such a good Christian message." They can't imagine that he could be in on it, so they make up stories how he's not, how he was assassinated.
This is one of the things that they're doing, is they're trying to hijack a legitimate Christian movement, right? This is why Russell Brand became a Christian. This is why Jordan Peterson became a Christian. This is why the IIA operations, Mr. Joe Rogan has his handlers. This is why he's moving to Christ, right? This is why they're doing that, because they want to hijack a legitimate movement.
Let me talk about the theory of the lavalier microphone bomb, right? So Charlie wore a very wafer thin magnetic microphone on his T-shirt, and the official story says the day before he sent a text saying, "I think they're going to try and kill me," right? So the next day, right, and then we were pre-programmed for planted bombs in pagers from the pager story of the exploding pagers a year ago.
Yep.
Remember that? Mm-hmm. So let me ask a question, Marty. On that T-shirt you're wearing there, if we had a little magnetic microphone, you wore it all the time. It weighs probably an ounce, maybe a half an ounce. And they replaced it with a bomb that could blow a hole through your chest and exit your neck. Do you think you would notice a difference in that microphone?
I mean, you would think you would.
It would have to have some weight on it. And then how would it not blow a hole in his T-shirt? The story that people are telling it's going through his chest and out his neck, and that was an exit wound. Mm-hmm. That's crazier than the globe Earth. It's so dumb.
The whole thing about, too, when you look at this as a stage show, it's clear that's clearly what it was. Just do a bird's eye view of the Utah Valley campus or whatever it is. They had the little thing over top. They had the tent that was right there, and right out back, the getaway car was all right there. They immediately grabbed him in so that they could, you could clearly see that this was all set up just like it was a magic show.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so many other clues in there. I mean, one of them was an award-winning, Emmy award-winning or Oscar, whatever the award is for prosthetic makeup guy was following Charlie in. He was there in the tent when Charlie allegedly got shot. And when he got shot, he didn't move for like 5 seconds. He just looking around, didn't react for over 5 seconds.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you had just sent me a video too that I just shared on TikTok where it's like basically when the government does these sort of like false flag operations that they have a color of the day.
Yep.
They redacted the color of the day when people did a FOIA request or whatever it was. And if you look in the crowd, there's all these people wearing maroon or burgundy.
Yeah. If you don't know, during the Charlie Kirk assassination, there was a significant number of young men wearing maroon shirts. Originally, Canson was the first person to point this out, and everybody called her crazy. However, I found proof that she was right. So after she made this claim, a lot of people called her crazy, but there was also a good amount of people from the military that were saying that's absolutely a thing that the military does during secret operations in public areas. They choose a color of the day. So I started thinking, right? I was like, what if I searched in the DOJ files the term color of the day? And what do you know? I find 40 results of different FBI briefings talking about a color of the day, and every single one is unredacted. You can see what the color of the day was for that day for whatever military operation was going on, and most of the details for the military operation is redacted. However, on the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination, the morning of, before his death, they established a color of the day for a SITREP, which is just a military situation report. And the color of the day is redacted. Out of 40 different files mentioning the color of the day for secret operations, the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination is the only one that has a color of the day redacted.
Yeah, and they all look like military guys.
They all look like military guys.
I truly believe at this point where they need us to give them permission to go to war. They need us to bang the war drums like they did on 9/11, right? We all banged the war drums. I did, and they got their wars. But like they've been trying to start this war with Iran and everything, and it kind of petered out a little bit. Supposedly we're going to war. I think that when people see through this, it actually stops it.
So there's basically three things that I want to point out as massive anomalies in what we saw at the Chuckles Church, the CK shooting, non-shooting, false flag event. And there are three things that I want to point out. And I'm going to basically present a challenge to all the audience that thinks this is crazy or whatever. But that's fine. You can think whatever you want, believe whatever you want. But the challenge is to answer these anomalies. And the three anomalies are this. Number one, Chuckles Church's ring. He had this ring that came on and off, and when he was shot, it went off, and then next thing you know, it immediately went down. It was like a gravitational pull, and it was pulled right back onto his finger, and then it went onto the other.
He does have big hands.
Yes.
Except when he was in the coffin, and his wife put her hand on top of it.
Yeah,
they were the same size.
Anyway.
All right, skip that. Skip that.
So there's the ring that comes off and then immediately collapses back on. Okay, there's one. The second one is the F. He has this shirt, white shirt, says freedom. Next thing you know, it's Freedom. The F goes away. That's the second anomaly. And then third anomaly is, of course, the chair. The chair.
What about the chair? Marty, what about the chair?
Talk about the chair. So this is the challenge that I have. And I said the challenge is do not give us your opinion. Do not give us, if you think that this is video compression or it's pixels or whatever the heck you think it is, okay, cool. But the challenge is this. Do not give us your opinion. Do not give us, this is what I think happened. We don't care. The challenge is this. Perform the scientific experiment. And what I mean is, you all have video. You all have video on your phones. You send us any video. Send it to info@Gnostic Academy, or what's your email, Dave?
theflatearthpodcast.com. info@theflatearthpodcast.com.
It's early in the morning, guys. Just give us a break, okay?
Yeah.
So send us a video of you that you've taken in your phone where you see anything like this, a video that you've taken. Okay, and beyond just the video that you have on your phone, actually perform an experiment. Take your phone, put it outside, put it on a tripod, Put yourself in a white Freedom shirt and do this. And then film that, compress it, do whatever you got to do, and then show us any video that you have that recreates exactly what we saw in that basically, 30 seconds in multiple different angles of what we saw that day. So perform the experiment. Recreate these scenarios. Recreate these anomalies on your own phones. And remember what this happened, like I said, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. How much video do you have on your phone? Right now, you probably have hours and hours. Just go through it and send Dave a clip, a clip that says it shows anything like that whatsoever, okay? And the one thing I would really like you to do, and we performed the experiment, my wife and I did, is just drop a chair, film it on your phone, and drop a solid chair on any platform, a desk, anything like that, and show us this, and I'll show the video right here. Show us this. Show us this happening at all. That's it. Otherwise, we don't care about your opinion. We don't care about what you think happened. I've got some theories or a conspiracy. We don't care. What we want to see is the actual science behind this. So Jennifer and I, we're like, you know what, since we're a church and academy, we really want to be scientific. We want to do actually do an experiment on this. So Jennifer and I, we just went ahead and just tried it. I was like, baby, hey, grab that chair and then just drop it and just see. It didn't fall through the table. We gave it, we did this 3 times too. We did this. Let's watch it again, just so you guys know how physical objects work. Okay. So there's my wife. God, she's beautiful. Look at her. And then she drops it, and it just stays right there. She's like, you know what we called this? That we did that 3 times. I've videoed that 3 times to make sure we got the best cut. We called that the final experiment. We called it the final experiment. We actually did an experiment. We did it 3 different times. I was like, hey, is this chair solid? Okay, then I went to that table and I was like, clunk, clunk, clunk. And then I was like, okay, so those are both solid. So I guess the experiment's done, isn't it? So I guess whatever we were watching there is clearly not physical, which means that the only explanation would be that this is a fucking magic show.
What a knobhead.
Jim, is this a fucking magic show?
Well, they took a completely different sort of chair and dropped it in a completely different way. I said, look, it didn't do what that other chair did. It's kind of obvious what happened. The edge of it had got hooked on the top of the table, I think. I mean, that was what was going on.
Did he actually entitle his site the Gnostic Academy?
Yeah,
and
church. He claims it's a church.
They claim to be Christian after that?
Yeah, he claims it's a ministry, that is, he claims.
The Gnostics were heretics. Oh my God.
I think Charlie's shirt was a little bit bigger than Charlie, and I think the shirt just kind of folded over the F.
Right.
It's not a huge deal.
The ring was a good one, though, wasn't it? I mean, I guess it is some compression error, you know what I mean? Where it's moved his ring slightly or something, and it looks like it's on the other finger or something, but that is a bit of a weird one, that is, isn't it? Don't you think?
Yep.
So why was this a big deal? I thought, is this just like the Kennedy shooting? They got to deny that it happened, or what?
Well, yeah, it's like I always say, any significant news event now is actually a conspiracy, None of them get
what
off
happened
lightly.
to good old Charlie then? Is he alive and somewhere
I guess that's what they're trying to say, yeah, I think.
I mean, it might explain why his wife has been so cheerful since.
Yeah.
I think his wife was just gracious, glad to be rid of a overbearing bastard, from what I understand.
No, she has God on her side. You wouldn't know that, NASA shill.
Right.
Works in mysterious ways.
Apparently very mysterious, according to these guys. So it's freaking magic almost.
Fucking magic.
Yeah,
I can't.
Fucking magic.
I can't
show.
swear. I can't swear on when someone's on the internet.
I know that wasn't very godly of him either, was it?
Are you celebrating Ramadan? Is that why you can't swear?
It's after dark here, so I can eat and swear. I can.
All right. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Thank you very much to everyone who was here on the panel. Thank you very much to everyone who super chatted me or PayPal'd me. Hang on, I'm going to paste the link one more time. There it is, just in
Make
case
me
you
feel
fancy.
important by calling me part of the panel.
Yeah, and just in case you fancy bunging me a few quid, that would be lovely. Anyway, thank you very much. We'll see you again at the usual time, which is 10 p.m. UK time. I think you'll probably find next time around it will be readjusted back to the usual time it was before you changed the clocks in America, because we will be changing our clocks. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. It's on at the usual time. You know what to do, where we'll be. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.